wine? Just for the uninitiated at home, what is cheer wine?
Cheerwine is a regional soft drink that
Yes, and
is, or soda, or whatever you call it in your region.
It's
That
like a
is
Coke that isn't Coke.
that is I don't know. It's delicious.
what's its flavor?
Cheer wine.
Yeah, it's cheerwine flavored. I don't actually know what's Dr Pepper flavored. I don't know. It tastes like Dr Pepper,
Medicinal.
but it's a fizzy drink. Yes, it's a deep like
It is.
burgundy color.
It is stains carpet like a bastard. Let me tell you.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you're essentially drinking Mountain Dew that's trying to be cherry more than it's trying to be lemon. It will
Yeah,
not succeed, but that's what it is.
yeah. Its primary flavor is cherry. And what is Clues allergic to?
Cheer wine.
Cherry. That is correct.
Don't
Because
don't touch the carpet, Clues. It'll
be-
stay there forever.
because the roots of the cherry tree penetrate the depths of hell itself.
I did not know you were allergic to cherries, Clues.
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Shit, can Jen eat cherries?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She can. Eat
Okay,
cherries.
so when those bonbons get there, just give those to her.
Okay, fair.
You can have the outside part.
Yeah,
Now,
you can lick them all first if you like.
The good news is that my allergy to cherries is a protein allergy. It's not like the anaphylaxis shock kind of allergy.
Right.
I won't die. I will just want to die, because what occurs is typically, and it's been years since this has happened because I actively avoid the evil that is cherries. Um, when I eat the cherries, it's fine. It's the next time that I eat, several hours later. Like if it happens at lunch, it'll be at dinner, etc. And then I throw up every 2 hours for about a day,
Like clockwork?
whether I've eaten anything or not.
Clues, maybe don't drink more cheer wine.
And once you've had the dry heaves at 6 a.m, through no fault other than you were dropped off at kindergarten and they decided to have a party and served punch, which, yes, this did occur. It began my lifelong love of education, believe it or not. You are perfectly happy to avoid cherries for the rest of your life. And so I do.
I can't believe you took those kindergartners punch, dude.
Sure. It wasn't me. At any rate, yeah, don't drink cheer wine. That's what I'm saying. Also,
it's bad for you, but welcome to soda.
when I was living in the South, and I had a roommate for several years, and we had a couple of different apartments that we shared, and in every apartment there was a stain from cheer wine, and it was spilled by different people. It wasn't just that my roommate spilled the cheer wine. No, I think he was responsible for one, and a friend of his was responsible for another. But there was always a cheer wine incident. And so
that is how you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this all sounds legit.
Yeah, just don't drink it. It's a bad
It's
idea.
kind of how you christen an apartment, really.
I can actually find cheer wine here. They carry it in my grocery store in the like regional and ethnic foods aisle. They have cheer wine.
Naturally. All right, well, I know what not to buy you now.
Yeah, just don't. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that about you, Clues.
Yeah, well, hey, you learn something new every day.
Learned a new weakness.
That's right. In general, I avoid anything that is red if I don't know what it is.
Except
food-wise. Yeah, well, that, like I said, food-wise.
I said what I said. It's like the burn test, but you know.
Oh, and
is that why the first time I met you, I held out my hand to shake your hand, and you just sort of went, "Nah."
Yeah, it was because you're red.
Yeah. No, that's because human beings are filthy and disgusting, and I don't believe in shaking hands and never have. But
that's fair. That is fair.
If 2020 has taught us nothing else, it's for the love of God and all that's holy, stop touching people you don't know.
Stop touching, and don't touch people you do know if you can help it.
10th Tech Priest, I don't know if it's just actual cherry or artificial cherry. I don't know because I don't want to find out because it's totally not worth it.
I can see that, yeah.
I'm now imagining all the different artificial cherries used in candy and like the science that would go into finding out which one's Clues is.
Yeah, I don't. Just no.
None of them are worth it.
No.
I'm wondering.
No.
I'm just wondering.
So,
Yes, it is at Meyer, Al. You can find cheerwine at Meyer for reasons.
That's me.
so I got a message from Steph that said, "Have a good podcast,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I said, "Yep, time to complain about Wizards of the Coast for an hour or so." And she
Yep.
said, "Woo, get it out of your system so you have more room for them to disappoint you in."
She understands this.
She doesn't even play Magic,
Neither
but
do
like-
we.
but she knows.
She's got all the traits necessary to be a podcaster, except she's got common sense and isn't doing it.
Huh. Anyway,
Okay,
So-
where were we? Are we going to start a show?
695.
yeah,
We are halfway through nice.
dude, nice.
And yeah, Meyer is pretty great, Al. I missed it when I was in the South.
I've noticed that people that aren't me have these weird regional attachments to places like Wawa and Meijer, like
Yeah.
convenience stores and gas stations and grocery stores. People are like, those are great. I miss those. And I'm like, if I moved somewhere where we didn't have freaking Food Lion, I would not give a damn about Food Lion.
Well, that's because
I think-
Food Lion's garbage.
Well, I think it's one of those things where like I'm in the same boat as Chewy. I grew up with like Food Lion and Kmart, so like I'm not really losing anything if I move.
Yeah.
I don't have any nostalgia for my gas station chains or any of that. Like I think I would be a little weirded out if I moved to a place without McDonald's, but that's just because it's McDonald's, not because I miss McDonald's. It
Yeah, that
just
would
like,
be
what is
weird,
this?
but it wouldn't personally affect me.
Yeah.
I liked Harris Teeter. That was pretty good.
I mean, we definitely have those.
Their chocolate chip cookies are amazing. Like you go to the bakery section and they have the little plastic bin with like a dozen chocolate chip cookies in it. Oh God, I love the Harris Teeter chocolate chip cookies.
I don't make enough money to shop at Harris Teeter, so
That is a fair criticism of Harris Teeter.
like apparently, as
listen.
I've lived around here longer, they're all not on sale prices or god awful, but their sale prices are like the best.
Yeah.
And I was
And
like,
you got to have the Harris Teeter card. You got to have the card.
It is
Do
a bit-
yourself a favor though. Stop in sometime and pick up the cookies.
They're pretty good.
I shopped there for a long time and I never bought any of their cookies.
Oh man, you missed out.
I used to buy the cookies as a cosplay prop because
Yeah,
it
the
turns
next-
out a prop that you can give people to eat makes them happy. And this was in a time period where you could give things to strangers, and it was only kind of sketchy.
The next time you're on a cheerwine run, don't buy the cheerwine. Instead, save the money for the Harris Teeter cookies.
I don't think any of us are going on a Cheerwine run.
Yeah, I don't buy Cheerwine anymore.
Thank God.
So that
Thank
does
God.
sound like a legacy deck.
Cheerwine run.
Cheerwine run, it does.
Yeah.
Like a Wolf Run deck that's mono red somehow. Yeah, I can see that.
It just trips me out. It's mainly like Wawa is the thing that people lose their minds over when they don't have them.
Yeah. There is this religious affiliation to Wawa that I find
I don't
strange.
get it. I don't get any of that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Like,
I've
I
actually
went
been
to-
recording for almost 10 minutes now.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
we
fair.
We should probably actually start.
And that's the show, everybody.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Wait, no.
None of you care about Magic. You're here to listen to us talk about gas stations.
By the way, can I put the special gas that Sheets has in my car? I don't know.
I mean, my car only wants like low octane, like
Wait.
the normal stuff.
Which special gas?
I can't remember now. I haven't filled up. I need to fill up, but I
I know
haven't
that
in about a week.
There's like the
Special gas.
there's the low, middle, and high of normal gas, and then there's like the magical cleans your car gas that doesn't actually do anything, and then there's the other one.
Yeah, and that one is cheaper than the others, but I always eyeball it and go, I don't know if my car can
I
handle
just
that.
go with like the 87 because I have a hybrid, and they told me to go with the 87, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, totally fair.
Fair enough.
The higher octane is not really benefiting my car any, so I'm not getting it.
Wow, no. High octane. Okay, anyway, here we go. Let's start the damn show.
Ta. Bold.
Wait, everybody, look at the camera. This will be our thumbnail. Ow, jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Monday Night Magic. Yes, we didn't forget how to do it.
That remains to be seen.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And it's Monday.
Is this one where we teach people how to be good at limited? I forgot.
No.
Clues, crack a pack.
Crap. I don't have any packs in here. Wait, I have a pre-release kit downstairs. I can go get it if you really want me to.
No.
All
it's not even from the most recent set.
No, we're here to talk about why WotC's bad for you. Welcome back, everyone.
Ask your doctor if WotC's bad for you.
I'm Chewy.
Hey.
Over there is Squee.
Yay.
Hi.
And over there is Clues.
Oh, that guy.
Also over there.
Yeah. So,
Oh, hey, wait. Hold on. Breaks before we start the show.
Yeah, we already started the show.
As we're starting the show.
Okay.
This was a trigger that happened as we started the show. Before we move on to the next step, we got to resolve this trigger. Hey, everyone, it is the beginning of August. This is a very important time for you to make sure you are registered to vote. And if you aren't, fix that. And if you think you are, you should double check just in case.
And continue to do so until...
Continue to do so,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, continue to confirm that you're registered to vote until democracy improves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
You have to now.
yeah. There may be purges, and not the kind in the horror movies, not that kind of purge. That comes later.
The consequence might be the same. Be careful.
All right, so...
I miss when that word just meant vomit. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Damn.
Was
Yeah,
always
Magic.
followed with binge, or preceded by binge and. Oh, good
We are
times.
classy.
Binge means a whole different thing these days, too. Now it means Netflix.
Yeah. Language of
Whoa.
all.
Binge and purge is now watch Netflix and voter suppression. What the hell?
I mean, that sounds like a 2020 bumper sticker. Sounds right.
Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled complaining about Wizards of the Coast. But not yet. First, we have to talk about this thing that happened today. Out of the blue. Out of just nowhere. I saw a screen cap of it. And my first thought when I read through, it was just the screen cap of the, it's a banner restricted update, by the way. But when I read through the screen cap, I was like, Carrie, because I thought that it was a Carrie Photoshop. Also, it said like August 8th, 2020 ban and restricted announcement posted in news on August 3rd.
So can you explain to me what a Carrie Photoshop is?
So Carrie is a person on Twitter who makes convincing and hilarious fake things.
Okay.
They were using Still Carrie, but they decided to make that one their personal account and make a new one for Magic trolling, but I can't remember what the new one is. I know I follow it, but that doesn't do any good.
I'm sure the chat will somehow produce it.
Yeah, chat. What's Carrie's? my voice just cracked. I just hit puberty yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sorry,
finally.
boy. I mean, you were due, but man.
I'm gonna get hair in funny places and start thinking about girls. But I forgot what I was saying.
Also a sign of puberty.
Banned and restricted.
Right. Yes. But yeah, they had the date wrong. And actually, if you look at the URL, it still says August 8, 2020 ban and restricted announcement.
Whoopsie.
So, and it said August 8, like right here, this said 8th, and then it said posted in news on August 3rd. And I was like, Carrie got this all screwed up. And then I realized that this was legit. And I went, wait, what? because so previously they have gone, okay, in a week we're gonna do some stuff and it's gonna involve these formats. Okay. And then Clue swears at that.
I do.
In the odds and ends, he gets all sweary. Because I think it's because this, what is it? This literally does blanking nothing.
Yeah.
Is an exact
Look,
Clues quote.
Here's the thing. I wanted them to stop announcing that they were going to announce, but not like this. Not like this. There's a monkey paw somewhere, and the finger has curled or uncurled. I think it's curled.
I'm pretty confident that the monkey paw has been pretty busy lately. So
Yeah.
it's doing Naruto hand signs at this point.
But is it Naruto running?
I mean, it's a paw, so probably not. Unless that's your wish.
What, it can do it. It gets 2 of the legs to run, and the other 2 arms are off. Or the other 2 fingers are in the direction.
Oh, like Thing?
It's running this way, Yeah. Anyway.
Got it. You can tell we've had an entire, 3 weeks to learn focus and discipline.
And fail.
And did not.
Consummate professionals.
Not at all.
So okay, yeah, let's get into it. They've banned in Standard, Pioneer, Historic, and Brawl. Well, the historic ones are suspensions, but they're bans.
They're on their way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so first up, in Standard, we've got Wilderness Reclamation. At the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Growth Spiral, Teferi Time Raveler, and Cauldron Familiar. And the Cauldron Familiar is the other thing that made me go, Carrie, because who would ban this glorious little kitty? And then I read what it did, and I went, I don't get it. And then I read the description, and I said, oh, God!
Oh, yeah.
So, it says on the traditional standard ladder on Arena, they have a good distribution of deck diversity and win rates. But at the high level, there are just a few decks with high win rates, and they live there. And so they're going to try to shake that up. Even though rotation is coming very, very soon, they decided they didn't want the last little bit of time until rotation to be miserable.
Fair. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So it's the person who's not enfranchised in the current set.
True.
But likes it on principle.
So they're banning Growth Spiral and Wilderness Reclamation because that is by far the worst offender as far as being the big bad. Like, Wilderness Reclamation decks were 54% of the metagame at the Players' Tour Finals. The Players' Tour Finals is the modern equivalent of a Pro Tour, because you have different Players' Tours, and the top however many at each of those events go to the other event, and that's the Players' Tour Finals. So the Players' Tour Finals is essentially the Pro Tour. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And Random K-Ho just threw 100 bits and says, good thing the oven wasn't banned. Still need it to make sourdough.
Bravo. Bravo.
So, yeah, Growth Spiral and Wilderness Reclamation are just banned because they're dominating the top level of play in metagame share and win rate. So, nah. And then the Cauldron Familiar, I completely forgot about Witch's Oven. So the Witch's Oven, tap and sack a creature, create a food. And the Cauldron Familiar is sack a food to get it from graveyard to the battlefield. And when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So it's constant, free damage.
Yeah.
And life gain.
And life gain. Just all the time. So yeah, they said it's got a high win rate, maintained a high win rate over a long period of time is the Jund Sacrifice or the Black Red Sacrifice deck. Let's see. In addition to having high overall win rates, these decks put considerable pressure on aggressive and mid-range creature decks. Further, this is another important bit. The number of triggers generated by these decks can be cumbersome for both players in digital play.
Dun, dun, dun.
You mean what Magic is right now?
What Magic is right now, yes. Which, that's a point that he makes a couple times during this. Who wrote this? Ian Duke, yeah, okay. So, yeah. And also, Teferi Time Raveler is...
Hey, Chewy,
Yes.
can I swear? Is it okay to swear on this show?
I mean, I hear there's no swearing on Monday Night Magic, but we have lifted that from time to time.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. I just want to read one thing here, if I could.
Okay.
We've often heard the feedback that the repetitive play patterns and reduced capability for interaction that Teferi Time Raveler can create feel oppressive and limiting. No kidding. Really? That's just shocking to me. I can't believe that anyone would feel that way about Teferi Time Raveler.
You weren't going to say kidding, were you?
I was not. But in the interests of this show, where there is no swearing, I did not.
It follows that up with, while we'd considered banning Teferi Time Raveler in past updates, one reason we didn't was
It's because
evidence...
we hate you.
That too, but was evidence that it was helping hold Wilderness Reclamation decks in check. But since Wilderness Reclamation is getting banned, well, screw you, Teferi, you out too.
Two wrongs no longer make a right. They
I'm
didn't before, but...
What I'm seeing there is they're like, well, we got rid of the cancer, so we're just going to knock out that chemo we don't need anymore. They're both bad for you, but here we go.
Pretty much.
I mean, if anyone is represented, you can't have fun in printed Magic cards. It's probably going to be Teferi.
Yeah, just
Having
look at
made
that card.
Teferi decks before, I promise they're not for being a good person.
Just look at that card. Just read it. Just read that card and just think to yourself, this was a good idea. At any point, even if you enjoy playing that card, you can't possibly believe that this was a good idea.
Oh, they do. Oh, they do.
Well, good riddance.
Good auto card. Well played.
Yeah, I'm glad AutoCard is working again.
It
on
makes
these
this
pages.
video thing a lot better.
It does, yeah. So yeah, they do point out that 3 of these were already gonna rotate, but we don't want the last chunk of the metagame to be miserable, so.
Yeah.
And it says, we emphasize that these changes are, to a large degree, a product of the times and the current focus on digital play.
Current. Very current.
So then let's go to Pioneer.
Thank you, Squee. It was running through my head too.
Wait, what was that?
It's a Tenchi Muyo song. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. That's fine.
No.
It's a really good soundtrack, though.
It's time to light the lights.
I mean, when we have
Muppet
that
Show tonight. Bump, bump, bump. What?
Bump.
if we get the Muppet format, I'm down for that too. Muppet feels like it should be some kind of format of Magic. I don't even know what. But it has contraptions. Yeah.
But it does.
All right. So they say we continue to see many different decks that have success in Pioneer and no decks with problematic win rates against the field. But they do see that combo decks as a group make up a large portion of the competitive metagame. And you might remember the last time there was a BNR update, people were like, they didn't touch the Inverter of Truth. Have they lost their minds? Well, we've heard feedback that the frequency at which one finds themselves facing an opposing combo deck restricts deck building options and can make play experiences unenjoyable. While win rate data may not point to change being needed, a different, more important set of data does: player participation. No kidding.
So you're saying they're not playing anymore?
Like, yeah, this is the thing we talked about before. When Pioneer events aren't firing, that means your format sucks. It doesn't matter if the data shows that the metagame diversity is fine. That means your format sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a balanced format, but if it's not fun, no one's going to play it.
Yeah, there's a thing that I forget who this. It might have been Jeff from the Overwatch team actually said that actual balance is way less important than the player's perception of balance.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And that applies to video games, but also metagames like this. If you just look at the data and be like, this looks fine, while you're, I don't know, to make this slightly timely, while there's riots going on outside, maybe everything isn't fine.
Yeah. There's also just understanding that a profoundly negative experience will outweigh an equal amount of neutral or even positive experience. So if, you're on a scale of -10 to 10, with 10 being, the most amazing thing ever, and -10 being awful, and you get like a lot of solid 3s and some -9s, you might have enough 3s to even it out, but that doesn't make it good.
Yeah. Also, my terminology was bad there because riots aren't happening, protests are happening. Don't listen to the people who say otherwise.
Yes.
Now, I guess technically riots are happening because the police have been rioting for months now. Anyway, back to the magic. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're getting rid of some combo decks. Usually just by banning chunks of it. So Inverter of Truth. Do what?
You can kill a combo deck pretty hard if you want to. They tend to rely on very specific cards.
It's true. Yeah, so Inverter of Truth, which is part of a very important part of the Inverter of Truth combo decks, banned. Underworld Breach, which is a very important part of the Underworld Breach decks,
Checks out.
banned. Walking Ballista, which is part of that 2-card kill combo that we talked about a long time ago with Heliod Suncrowned, banned.
Wait, is the auto card pulling a Decepticon?
It pretty much is, and it's a good thing that all those people recently shelled out money for walking ballistas that are going to arrive banned.
That's beautiful.
What? Wait, what is that for or from?
I assume
It was one of the secret layers, wasn't it?
Was it?
I thought
I
it was
honestly don't remember.
Or was it a box topper? I don't remember.
I mean, we need something to fight all the Godzillas. That also confuse me.
That is true. No, box toppers would have the set symbol, not the
Yeah, I think
promo
those
symbol.
might be like a random promo thing from like a HasCon or Cross thing.
Oh wait, Gloppyrox has it. Random expensive promo set number 354645.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was how I couldn't get it because I couldn't find it in the store.
Anyway, and also Kethis the Hidden Hand, who's very important in the Kethis the Hidden Hand combo decks.
I bet a lot of these decks wish they were as good as Affinity and could blame all their goodness on a different mechanic that got banned instead. But they just weren't crafty enough. They took the name, they took the credit, and then they took the ban.
It's true. Also, Rectus24, thank you for that 23-month Twitch Prime resub. I don't know why I went but I did. So now we all have to deal with that.
That is the natural response to 23 months. I expect you to remember this.
I will not. Let's see how much Clues remembers. Clues!
Yes?
Flash.
Ah,
All right, clues is good.
Checks out.
um, that walking ballistic came from the "Can You Feel with a Heart of Steel" secret lair drop.
Ah, okay.
Aha.
Do you have handy when that was? Because people might not
Uh,
have gotten that yet.
yeah, I don't think they have. It was on June the 1st.
Oh, they have almost certainly not gotten that
Yeah,
yet.
they don't
Oh.
have that.
That's pretty funny.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
Wow.
Actually, now that I think about it, the was the vehicle deck.
It was the vehicle deck, yes.
That makes sense.
Whoops. But anyway, so yeah, they finally listened to people complaining about Pioneer sucking, and they've nuked the worst combo decks that were a significant portion of the metagame.
Yeah.
And he says here, we understand that this represents a large change to the Pioneer environment, and frankly, that's the intent. While we're past the phase of frequent weekly updates to Pioneer, we're still in a period where changes are necessary to help shape the format in its initial launch year. We want to ensure that Pioneer, blah, 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 everything's fine, nothing is broken here. And we're dedicated to actively supporting Pioneer and will continue to incorporate both data and community feedback. Nice.
There's a sign of how time works. We're still in the first year of Pioneer. It's been so long.
I'm thinking of crying.
Oh, I saw a tweet earlier today that made me, it almost blew my mind.
Yeah.
You guys remember,
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
was it a large boulder
The
Wait.
size of a small boulder.
or a small boulder the size of a large
Size of a
boulder?
large boulder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was this year.
Unreal.
When was 30 to 50 feral hogs, though? That's what I want to know. Was that
was
this
last
year?
year.
That was
That
last
was
year.
last year because there were 30 to 50 Feral Hog cosplayers at DragonCon.
Okay,
They were
good.
numbered. They were numbered. It was amazing.
That is
They wanted to make
amazing.
sure you knew.
Okay, so historic. They are suspending Wilderness Reclamation and Teferi Time Raveler
Checks
Thank
out.
God.
for the for very similar reasons to Standard. It said they touched on Wilderness Reclamation in the last update, saying that while it was powerful, we're only seeing it in problematic decks alongside Nexus of Fate. And they got rid of Nexus of Fate. But they said since then, we've seen a Teamer Reclamation list growing steadily in Historic that leverages both Expansion, Explosion, and Field of the Dead. And it's over 10% of best of 3 games while maintaining concerning win rates. So they're like, you know what? No. So it's suspended now. And then Teferi, really for the same reason, although it says he's appearing in over 20% of historic best of 3 games and significant percentages in other modes as well.
Really good, you guys. It's not a subtle card.
Yeah. So there you go. Historic has suspended those two. Suspension, remember, means banned for now, and we'll see if this makes things better, and if so, we'll ban it. If not, we'll unsuspend it.
It's timeout.
It's timeout.
And it will be determined at a future date whether or not timeout will be rewarded with, you were good, you can come back, or we're going to take you outside to the tree.
You mean to the farm upstate?
We're not going to be kind to cards in timeout.
Damn.
Look, it's cold, man.
And then finally in Brawl, Teferi Time Raveler is one of the most played commanders in Brawl, appearing in over 10% of the games, and he has one of the highest win rates. In addition, this is some Galaxy Brain level stuff here. In addition, we see a similar impact in Brawl to that described in the other formats.
Also
I'm shocked.
Yeah, for these reasons, Teferi Time Raveler is banned in Brawl.
Good riddance, you bastard.
So really, it's just because in the last few months of this, or few weeks, I guess, of this Brawl format, they just want to not be miserable.
I think it's also fair to note that like the actual card pools of so many of these formats are very similar. So it shouldn't be that shocking that when we see a card banned in one of them, it's probably got to go in the others too. It's not like we have the massive diversity between what is standard, what is modern, what is legacy. Like, they're all playing off the same few years of cards.
Yeah, Historic has only added some stuff, and Pioneer, at least as far as Arena is concerned, doesn't exist, I don't think, so never mind, ignore that, but it's got a few more years of stuff, but it's still not modern levels of
Yeah, they're all
size.
still operating in a window that has a finite number of answers, but also just the really good cards are really, really good. And there aren't enough game-breakingly good cards to count each other out the way you have in some of the other formats. Like, most of Legacy is broken, but it's okay because it's broken across all colors and decks.
What really gets me is that we could have all this time, they could have banned Teferi a long time ago and just ended all of that misery. But they did it now.
Well, they had to do it now. This is the only time they can cast a sorcery. That's what he does. That's his thing.
Oh, thank you, Squee.
Now, there is a paragraph here at the end that I'm going to read to you in its entirety. This is on announcement timing and effective date. In the past, we've given a 1-week advance notice for updates to the ban and restricted list. Because of the increased focus on digital play environments during this time period, we're choosing to forego that advance notice and roll out these changes as soon as possible. This isn't necessarily indicative of how we'll announce and implement in the future, and we're continuing to look at how we balance giving players advance notice versus staying agile with respect to changing metagames. So, yeah, like we said at the beginning, before they've been going, okay, next week we're going to make an announcement about this format and this format and this format. And then next week they tell us what the changes are. And usually the bans go into effect that day. But you get a week to, think about it. But today they were like, hey, this stuff is banned. And people went, I'm sorry, what? What? And they're like, this stuff is banned. When? Now. It's already banned. It's been banned. It's banned 10 minutes ago.
Give me your binder.
And this leads to some weird things. Like,
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't open the freaking tweet.
Oh, no.
I've still got it someplace. You need it?
What? No, I have it. I just didn't open it because I'm stupid.
Comments are fun.
I'll just put it in the chat.
So, I mean, it's already on the screen, but sure.
There.
I know, but I put it in the chat.
So this person says, this is a first. My deck got surprise banned in the middle of a tournament with Arena updating between rounds 3 and 4. Because he was playing a Reclamation deck, it looks like. Because it says PT Finals Rec. Banned or suspended cards 12. Yeah, he was playing all of the cards.
The other thing that Teferi does is show up out of nowhere with no notice. So, like, really, this is the appropriate way for him to go out. Like, right in the middle of someone else's tournament.
Although you can't see that on the screen the way I have it cropped because it's bad at this game. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, banned or suspended cards 12. Double click to edit. But luckily, it was apparently an SCG event, and he responded to someone down here saying, "We played the final round with our existing decks via the untimed freeform challenge option." Because what else are you gonna do? Like. But that's one of the problems with now. It's banned right now. Now. Is in the middle of a tournament, dude's deck is suddenly not legal anymore. What? So.
Like I said, there's a monkey paw somewhere. I did not mean like this. I did not mean like this.
Like, they might want to consider doing it on Monday and making the announcement on Monday and then banning it on, like, Wednesday?
Yeah, give us at least a day, maybe 2, just in case there's a tournament planned, or maybe have a window where bannings will happen. Like whenever there's a banning, whenever it is, there will be a day of the week in a window between, say, noon and 1 Pacific time. That's when bannings will go into effect on Arena. Don't have a tournament during that time.
Look, this is Wizards of the Coast. I want them to live stream someone rolling a D10 and a percentile, and then consulting a chart to tell us when things are banned. I
Okay.
want it to be
All right,
live and
I would
random.
accept that. I would accept that.
Like, oh look, consult the chart. Okay, 57. It will be banned tomorrow at 3:41 a.m. Probably Pacific time because WotC. Now you know.
So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing that is like, what? Wait, what? So yeah, that was fun. For certain value of fun. So anything else on the BNR stuff?
Nope. I think that's. I mean, okay. This is big changes, right? So, like everything you thought you knew about standard, not true anymore. What does it mean? Well, we don't know. We don't play standard. So, go ask someone who does.
Everything they write in the science books is about to change. No, wait. Everything they write in the meta articles is about to change. Anybody else remember Signs? I liked that movie.
I didn't like that movie, but I do remember it.
I mean, it's not good, but I liked it.
I mean, oh no, I like things that are bad all the time. I understand. I just didn't really like it.
Like, I thought it was good, and then I watched it again, actually just a couple years ago, and I was like, anyway.
It was just one of those movies where like too much of it didn't work for me, but we can talk about that after the show.
Fair enough.
It's not the worst Shyamalan movie. We all know what the worst Shyamalan
That's The
movie
Happening.
is. We
Right?
can do worse than that. We can adapt beloved franchises badly.
I forgot about that. I don't think that was as bad as The Happening. Like, The Happening was just bad from the ground up. But, like, The Last Airbender at least had a solid base to start from. The Happening didn't have that. Its base was marshmallows.
When you start at a higher place and manage to end at a lower place, you've just fallen, sir. What's next in the show notes?
All right, so next in the show notes. So, we completely missed Double Masters preview season because we took 2 weeks off because nothing else happened.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that because we don't talk about previews really here anyway, but we do want to talk about, briefly anyway, the Double Masters VIP edition, which is the new apparently now they don't do MSRP anymore because that way they can hide how expensive crap is and blame it on your local game shop. But reports I've seen are these are like $100 plus packs.
Yay.
And well, an important thing is that they lied about what's in it
There's your problem.
in the marketing for $100 plus packs.
Lied is a strong term.
Okay, sorry. They said things that weren't true,
There we go.
which is let's see, a synonym for lie.
Look, libel and slander are things. So I'm just saying
He's not writing it.
mistakes were made.
They lied whether it was intentional or not. There, how's that?
Fair.
But yeah, well, I didn't realize it was at the top of the article, but there's a tweet here that says, in publishing the contents of the Double Masters VIP edition, we aired, when describing the contents of the 2 foiled borderless cards found only in the VIP edition. While they are marked as rare or mythic rare in their borderless treatment, 8 of the cards are popular, powerful cards found at other rarities in the set. These include, and they list off some that have been previewed at that point. But like, so they said that, hey, yeah, these are 2 guaranteed rare or mythic rares, but they weren't. There were what? How many were there? 40?
There were 40. 32 of them were, in fact, rare or mythic rare.
Yeah. And then 8
8?
of them
Not so much.
are not. Now, it is possible that the Urza's Mine Tower power plant, Brainstorm, are gonna be just as expensive, if not more so, than some of the rares, excuse me, or mythics. But like, if WotC isn't gonna acknowledge the secondary market, then we're not either. It doesn't matter how expensive these are in the marketing when they say, "Hey, it's 2 rare mythic rare." It turns out some of them are commons. Like, that's just misinformation. And I like the way they say they're trying to minimize it by saying, well, they're still popular and powerful cards. Doesn't matter. You lied.
The entire game that is played here is the idea that you are buying things and getting an expected rarity. That's how they get away with not calling this gambling, because you're getting what is advertised.
Yeah.
So they have to be really careful with this. Hey, Chewy.
Yeah.
You know what this means?
No?
You could get no mythics or rares.
Shut up, Bill.
0.
But, like... So, like, here's a response to this from Alexis Jansen, who, let's remind you, used to work for Wizards. It says, we advertised getting 2 curated rares or mythics, but actually 20% of them are commons or uncommons, is a pretty big mistake for a premium product with a $100 per booster price tag. People rush to pre-order based on this misleading info. Frowny face. And, like... Yeah, Alexis isn't wrong.
It's very true.
And, this was my favorite. Hang on, a bunch of these are just horrible people being horrible. But this was my favorite one. Is Zame Beg, who says, if you've been burned by the misleading description on a pre-order on this expensive product, you can file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission at, here's the link, or call this number. And, like, he's not wrong.
No, that's completely valid.
Yeah. But,
like,
explain that, would you please, there, Squee?
Oh, so I think it's really important to understand, like I kind of alluded to before, that the way that all of this works, like, we're either treating it as gambling or we're not. But you are purchasing something and you are told that you have odds of getting things. When you are pre-ordering it on the internet, you're buying it without seeing, like, the pack itself and all the legal stuff they put on the back of it telling you the approximate odds of getting whatever, which you'll notice they kind of have to put on things, even when they would still do, like, the weird soda contest where, like, you know, you pop the top off and you might win something, or the McDonald's Monopoly or any of that. They have to tell you the odds, because that's what you're buying, is an opportunity to win a thing at a given rate. So if you pre-order this on the assumption that you are getting, you know, 2 rares or mythics, and there is a very real chance that you won't, you've now bought something under a false pretense. So that's bad. That is incredibly bad. And when things like that happen and you buy something under a false pretense, yeah, you report it to organizations that deal with businesses, which is what he's suggesting there.
Now, when he says he doesn't necessarily mean end users. Like, you person listening to this was like, oh, that sounds really good, I'm gonna buy one. He also means stores that get this information and be like, okay, and do a quick calculation based on their customers and order this many. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that the information was wrong. Well, I already ordered them.
Like, I think a lot of what's going to come out of this is the fact that this is still a product that people want. And this is something that people have already decided they were going to buy.
True.
And so I think in the vast majority of cases, the end result is going to end up being about the same. But in terms of setting rules and precedents and all of that, like, this is bad. in terms of existing rules and precedents, this is very bad. And I think that you can't just be like, oops, we're sorry, tweet. Like, way more than all the other times they're like, and here's a sheet of apology of like extra cool stuff they gave out to people. Like, this is actually something that could get them in trouble. And
Yeah, and it's
that's
not
just
just like people in chat. One person in chat is trying to justify it. Well, I mean, the cards you could get are probably more expensive than the rares. I mean, doesn't matter if the problem isn't bad. It's still misinformation in things that have legal ramifications. If we just hand wave it off, they could do it again.
like bad things cannot hurt you. You could happen to open stuff that's worth it. We've done what's an EV. And sometimes you get a really good card that actually offsets a lot of the bad things. But WotC can't operate in a world with a secondary market because they're selling you a chance at getting a thing that they told you could get. They can't be like, oh, cool, a secondary market will buy this thing from you for that value, because like that thing that Rosewater got in probably trouble for on Twitter a bit ago, they can never acknowledge the secondary market value as a justification for a product. Like, you can't. You're not allowed to, or we have to acknowledge that you're gambling. And they cannot survive being labeled as gambling. So a lot of the gray area that they've operated in gets threatened every time they do something stupid like this.
Yep.
And I think they're just in such a rush to get more product out and capitalize on more money. And like, I'm sure there's very real financial stuff at stake, and there's a lot of other stuff going on that's very serious. And that you're going to make more mistakes when you're rushing out 1 billion extra products a year. But this is why you don't. Like, you can't do things like that. And they're getting sloppy, and it's eventually someone's going to bite them. And even if they like, go to court and they win a thing, like, this is costly. This hurts. And also, again, burning through 2 decades of goodwill by doing things like this is not helping.
Yeah, this isn't just, well, the date on the article says August 8th and the date in the URL still says August 8th. Like, this isn't that kind of mistake where you go whoopsie and you fix it.
Now, that said, per the chat, like, if they were to take these cards in the pack and they were to do something that, identified them as being rare or mythic or whatever, through whatever arbitrary way they want to do that, now they're fulfilling their requirement, because I don't think they're actually defined by what symbol's on them. I think they're defined by their classification and their frequency of collation.
Yeah, everything with the borderless treatment has the rare or mythic symbol on it. That's irrelevant.
I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, if they're saying, well, these are rare and mythics also, then yeah, they've covered their base legally, even though it's obviously super sketchy and uncomfortable. And like, that is true. Like, that's fair. But it's clearly not what anyone expected. A lot of this also just boils down to the tried and true: don't buy sealed product. Like, it's not a good idea. If you're not playing limited with it, it's not worth it, because the math is horrible and the price is horrible. But like, again, like, you remember forever ago, Chewy, when like a decade ago, when my at the time girlfriend bought one of those sealed packs in like a Target, and it was entirely basic lands.
I do remember you saying something about that.
Yeah, it was entirely basic lands. Technically, we purchased a pack of Magic. It contained Magic cards. They were worthless, but nothing on that pack said that they were worth something. It said it contained like 100 Magic cards, and it did. They were just basic lands. And that's what you can get away with if you don't promise something else. Like, this is obviously a third-party repack. If Wizards instead sold me a booster pack that contains like 1 rare, 3 uncommons, like 11 commons, and it was all basic lands, well, now it's different. That's not what that means. But yeah, like, if you're going to operate in a world of gray gambling, you can't go pissing off your user base. Like, that will eventually bite you.
It's true.
But that's where WotC's going to be if they continue to do things like this. I think that obviously this was a mistake or a misunderstanding, but you can only do so many of those before people see it as a pattern, even if it's not supposed to be. And if you're going to keep doing so much stuff that you can't keep up with it and do your due diligence, well, your mistakes cost.
Indeed.
Or at least they used to.
I mean, they still might. We'll see. We'll see where this all goes.
Yeah,
maybe
I
don't
think
buy these products. How's that? This is me
yeah.
just editorializing
that.
it. Don't do it. It's a bad investment. Just buy the Magic cards you want. It'll cost less.
Yeah, support your local game store.
Please, dear God.
They desperately
support
want to
your game
move
store.
the cardboard that costs too much, but will cost less than buying boxes of this. And you'll get exactly what you expected, and there will be no arguing over whether or not it's a rare. And then you can go back to not playing with physical cards because 2020.
So hey, speaking of boosters that are gambling,
Good.
let's move on. Hey, look, they introduced or are gonna introduce a new kind of booster. Now, if you listen to the latest episode of the Mana Pool, you already heard my take on this. But if you didn't, I'm gonna give it to you again. They're called set boosters.
Oh, dude, is it about tennis?
And they're essentially boosters made to be opened and not to be drafted with.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they don't have to have, how is it Mike put it? They don't have to have the same collation like restrictions that draft boosters do, because those are made to be drafted with.
Yeah, you run into ASFAN and all kinds of other stuff when you're dealing with boosters.
Yeah.
So you don't need to do that with this, and that's a good idea.
So, all right. They've got okay. So first up, there's an art card. You remember the art cards?
Wait, but before we dig into what's in them, if I may, can I give? I know you've already talked about this on the Mana Pool, but I did not listen to that episode yet, and so I don't know all of your thoughts. Although before the show, you expressed a few of them. Can I give my quick thoughts on this conceptually, at least?
Would that make more sense before or after the contents?
I think before the contents, quite frankly, and you'll see why in a moment. So
go for it.
I know a lot of folks expected me to absolutely hate this idea, because I've been on record several times that I think one of the problems with Magic as currently, the direction that they're headed right now, what bothers me is fragmentation. Because with fragmentation, you end up with a situation where someone who is new to the game, and you always do have to think about the people who are new to the game, that there is such a huge overhead in trying to understand what all these different products are, that there's no good way in. That it's just too much trouble to figure out what product I should be buying. Okay. So you've got your boosters and your collector's boosters and your VIP boosters and all of that nonsense. Here, though, we have what I think is the potential for a product that makes sense. Conceptually, I like this idea because you have two very different market segments. You've got people who are trying to draft. They need a booster that has a certain distribution to actually function correctly in a draft environment. If your draft packs were all bombs, right? Like all boosters were all bombs, that would be a very different draft environment than what you have right now, where you have
cube.
You're right. That would be a cube. We have a thing for that. So conceptually, the idea of having a completely separate booster for people who are just opening boosters to collect the cards that are inside makes perfect sense. I like the idea. I really do. But I'm not yet convinced that this is the correct implementation of it. But I'm actually behind the idea. I like it conceptually. So now let's dig into what's in it.
Yeah, so I agree that a conceptual new booster that's friendly to new players and just neat is fine, but this ain't it, Chief. So we have, first up, we have the art card, which is a neat little thing, I guess. It's another thing that could become a collectible, which is what Wizards wants. They want someone to collect these things so that people will buy more packs.
They're hoping we don't remember 90s comic books.
They're also hoping we don't remember the pro player cards that people just threw away. Like,
Yeah, but I got to be honest. I would collect them. I would have a binder of these.
yeah.
They were fun for human tokens before they printed tokens for us.
But they were. He means the pro player cards. But yeah, the art cards first showed up in Modern Horizons, and I think this is only the second time they're going to be here as with Zendikar Rising. I don't think we've had art cards since then, have we?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Excuse me. So then we've got a land slot, which is... Here we go with the showing you the numbers again. 15% of the time it's going to be foil.
I don't think you're showing your screen, by the way.
Oh, I'm not. Whoops. Hang on. There we go. 15% of the time it'll be foil. Ooh. But it's always land of some sort. And I think it's always a basic land. The default will be basic land cards in the slot, but that can change from set to set. So, like, if they do this with Ravnica, you'll get Guild Gates or whatever the thing is.
Sure.
But for now, for Zendikar Rising, it looks like it's basic, unless they just don't want to tell us something yet, which is possible because previews haven't even started yet. Thank God. Okay.
Because Zendikar is about funny land antics.
True. So then slots 3 through 8 are connected commons and uncommons, which means they're somehow related. It says that grouped in such a way that each card of the same rarity has something to do with the card next to it. Maybe it's creature type, maybe it's the cards just go together, whatever. They're connected.
Same artist.
It's the thing where we don't have to deal with, like I said before, we don't have to deal with the random collation in draft boosters because these aren't being drafted. At least that's not what they're for.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we have more percentages here where 75% of the time you get either 1 or 2 uncommons. Every other time you get up to 6 uncommons and the rest are commons. So,
which this idea here, this is still kind of neat. Okay,
Sure.
particularly for new players or someone who doesn't have a big collection and is trying to build a deck. You buy 2 or 3 of these boosters. You got a bunch of cards that have something in common. Maybe you've got some synergies for creature type or a mechanic that they work with. Still, I think it's a neat idea.
yeah. Until you get to the math, where like 75% of the time you'll get nothing, but 25% of the time you get good stuff.
It does make it exciting.
Sure.
And what is their stated goal?
Gambling.
To make open to make
it
opening
exciting.
boosters exciting,
Right.
Acquisition of currency.
which means gambling. Yes.
The thing I think you want to look. The thing I want you to keep in mind, try and keep an open mind as we discuss these, is that they have a stated goal. Is what they're doing supporting that goal?
Fair.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, but
So
the goal
far-
they're not stating. Look, I've been giving Wizards of the Coast the benefit of the doubt for years now, and it's done nothing but bite me in the ass in the last 2. So no, this is just to suck more money out of people.
Yes. but so is everything that WotC does.
Yeah.
Like, literally everything they do is to sell more packs so that they can keep doing what they do.
But this is okay. Here's a quick thing. Do you know? Now, Clues, you played Overwatch for a hot minute, right?
Yeah, a minute or 2, yeah.
And are there loot boxes in like Destiny?
It's gotten more loot boxy over time, yes.
Okay, so you know how when you open a loot box, you get this animation, and if it's like an extra rarity or a higher rarity, you get like flashes and golden colors, and in
Sure.
in Hearthstone, the innkeeper goes, "Wow, legendary!" You know, all of that.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yes.
Like, that's a psychological thing that hooks your brain and gives it a dopamine hit to hook you on collecting these.
It's why slot machines work.
It's why slot machines work. It's the same psychology. They're applying it, and they're saying they're applying it. They're telling you that they're applying this psychological hook
And
to booster packs. And that's not good when they're preying on your psychology to addict you to things. Making it more exciting means giving you a dopamine hit. So the one time you get 3 uncommons, you're like, yes! And you'll focus, or the one time you get all 6 uncommons and no commons, you'll be like, and now you're hooked, and you'll want to buy more set boosters.
And this is, I'm going to say this is a separate but related discussion, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad. And this is a manifestation of, this whole article is explaining how they're going to hook people with the fireworks and the Innkeeper Screaming Legendary in a paper product. Loot boxes are gambling. Booster packs have always been gambling.
I was going to say, that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Booster packs have always been that way. It was open
better
pack, garbage common, garbage common, garbage common, garbage uncommon, rare, mythic rare, maybe, foil, maybe foil, mythic rare. You remember that? Open another.
Exactly.
No, really, I need you to open another right now. I need it.
But like you say, when they spell it out for you like this, it's making my skin crawl reading this.
Remind me that I'm going to write down something here. When we're done talking about what's in this product, I have an important comment. Go on.
We'll double back to it after you get through the rest.
All right, so then we get to the head turner slot, which is you like a showcase card. It says it's a common or uncommon that's either a showcase card or a card that's a cool element of the set we haven't talked about yet. So whatever thing in Zendikar Rising. All right, then you get the wild card rarity slots, where again 75% of the time you'll get either 2 commons or a common and an uncommon, but the other 25% of the time you might get 2 uncommons or a rare or 2 rares. Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's the rare and mythic slot, which is same as always. The foil slot, where it's something foil, same as always. And then there's the tokens or ad card. So you'll get a token or an ad card 25% of the time. 75% of the time. And the other quarter of the time, you'll get some other card from the history of Magic with the original frame and the original set symbol.
Yeah.
And it's uncommons, rare, commons, uncommons, rares, and mythics from some time in the past. Is a curated list. And the examples here are Muscle Sliver from Tempest, Cloud Goat Ranger from Lorwyn, and Pact of Negation from looks like M25.
And here's a part where they go so off the rails that even Clues from his beginning, when he said this was a great idea, can't be on board anymore. I can't be on board anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in a thing called a set booster,
yes,
25% of the time you'll get the big money and fabulous prizes of a card that isn't in the set.
Yeah. Remember what I said about fragmentation and why fragmentation bothered me? This really
so
bothers me.
It's the incarnation of the thing that bothers you.
Yeah, I mean, it's
because
like
now the main appeal of the set is not the set. It's the exact opposite of what you wanted.
It's like they made a new pair of shoes just for me. And they're like, we think you'll love these shoes. Look at these shoes. They look perfect. They're the right size. They're great. However, we've put a pebble in the shoe. You won't notice it every time you put on the shoe, but 25% of the time, that pebble's going to be right under the ball of your foot.
So evil.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm no longer on board at this point. So like I said, conceptually, I like the idea of having a different product for collectors versus drafters. Because look, I ended up with, I have so many garbage commons and uncommons that I have duplicates of. And it's because I cracked a lot of packs, because I don't like to draft, but I do like to crack packs because I like to collect Magic cards, or at least I did. I don't really do it much anymore because I'm just too damn busy. But I don't think this is the correct way to do it. I don't think this is the right way to do it. But that's not the thing I wanted to circle back to. Can I circle back to a thing?
Okay, wait a minute. There's one more thing here. It's
okay, sure.
It says they'll have a small planeswalker symbol in the lower left corner. So it's not like these are, as chat joked, a bunch of old cards sitting around that they needed to do something with. These new printings of these old cards. And it's like the marketing department just got real high and was like, yeah, this sounds great.
What's going on?
It's just like, I don't... It was great. It sounded fine other than the obvious loot box nonsense.
You know, like, this is...
Until we got to here, and I went, what?
I'm not being hyperbolic when I'm comparing this to 90s comic books. Like,
He's really
the
not.
push to create a collector's item that people for some reason think is going to be worth money someday and therefore will buy possibly multiples of is really strong. And like, for people not familiar with 90s comics, because I have to acknowledge that it was more than 2 decades ago now, the goal of every 90s comic book was to convince people that this is going to be the next Superman or
75.
the next, yes, whatever, the next big deal, because there are some comics that are worth a lot of money and people have just discovered them and they've realized that baseball cards are a racket, so we have to do this now. And nothing was worth money because there were tons of everything. But also, it was every gimmick you could imagine. Hollow foil covers, special shiny covers, alternate variant covers, covers that are white with nothing colored in. I know that nowadays comic books will just have blank covers, so you can get an artist to fill in the cover for you.
And don't forget the ones that came pre-bagged, so you didn't know which cover you were getting.
Yeah, they're like giant booster packs.
Yeah.
And this was just what time was. And it failed. It failed hard. It made a lot of early on money. Yeah, there you go. Hollow foil.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's the thing, man.
Yeah.
It made a lot of money for the company selling it at the beginning. But
For
as a
sure.
long-term strategy, it nearly killed the industry.
Here's
It's
a
the reason
book.
Marvel doesn't own their own movies for a long time, and in some cases still doesn't.
Here's a book that I read earlier today. I finally finished the Age of Apocalypse storyline, by the way. Look at this cover. So, that's the inside. The actual cover is transparent.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Like, on the back too. It's the whole thing. And look, if it's actually you can see my hand moving. Wrong way. Back here.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really nice. I wonder if this is worth anything. And so I looked it up. And I saw one on eBay for $80 and I went, holy crap! And then I went to a site that wasn't eBay, which is full of stupid people and suckers. And I saw one for sale for $250 that was graded very fine.
Yeah.
The cover price? Hang on. Was $4.95.
Yeah, it sounds like about a $5 or $6 time period for hollow foil variant covers.
Well,
Yeah,
this was
I
the
have,
only edition of this. This wasn't even a variant. This was just
Yeah.
the only way you could get this. And like it's worth half what it was when it was printed.
I have 3 long boxes worth of comics that I collected comics quite a bit in the 90s. So I have 3 long boxes worth of comics that I have moved from place to place over the years. I should probably just burn them for warmth. That's probably their most useful.
Let's take a moment and remind everyone in the world that I own the entire Clone Saga
Yeah.
and its original printings. I wasn't buying them because I thought they would be worth money, but I very much remember the hype to spend the extra dollar on the fancier one and justifying it to yourself with, well, that's the more rare one. That one might be worth $1 more someday because you're a stupid kid.
Yeah.
And Magic, I think it really started around the time they started putting the what were they called? The inventions and all of the other
the
stuff.
masterpieces.
The masterpieces.
Yeah. When they started doing those so that like every pack might have this super rare fancy alternate version of a mythic. And that was like, floodgates opening before they just started printing them in bulk. Like the San Diego Comic-Con ones were kind of like that too, but they were legitimately hard to get for a while. So like at least they had some rarity element on their side. But yeah, now it's very comic booky, and like I promise you, all these secret layer things, they do them too often.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be worth more than they cost you. And special booster packs that have, a variation of an art of a thing, neat. Like, if you just want to buy it to buy something neat, then cool, go for that. But don't tell yourself it's going to even retain its value. Like, it won't. Please don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Magic is not an investment. Whoever tells you that is lying to you. Like,
Yeah.
it's you're buying time and fun playing with the cards, or the fun you get from having the cards, or the fun you get from opening the cards. That's what you're buying. Expecting this to turn into that amount of money that you spent on it or more is absolutely irresponsible. Do not do that to yourself. Just buy
Yeah,
the cards you want.
unless you actually have a business doing it, then that's not what it's for.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of things I want to say here. The first one is wait, do you want the feel bad one, or do you want the one that's about gambling?
Wow, those are different.
Take your pick. This is your choose your own adventure here. We
I'm
don't have
gonna
any good options left.
I'm gonna be bold, and I want the feel good one about gambling.
Ooh, ooh. Okay, well, I'll see what I can do with that. So Chewy, you were expressing some dismay that this is basically, in your opinion, let's again not state anything slanderous, liable. Which one's spoken? Which one's written?
Slander is spoken, libel is
Libel's
written.
written. Yeah.
Okay, let's not do anything slanderous here. But your assertion was this is basically gambling, and they're saying it out loud. They're just pointing out, hey, this is totally gambling. Look at it. Here, in fact, here are the percentages you're gambling with.
Yep.
Okay. Do you like Cheetos?
Sure.
I like Cheetos too. I think a lot of people like Cheetos. Cheetos are an amazing, amazing snack food. Did you know that Cheetos are one of the most interesting, most engineered snack foods ever? Because the way Cheetos are made, while you're chewing them, they dissolve in your mouth. And by doing that, it tricks your body into thinking that you haven't really eaten anything, so you want more. I know that. I clearly know that. I've known it for years, but I still like Cheetos. I know what they're doing to me. I know what they've been engineered to do to me, but I still enjoy Cheetos. This article is basically discovering that these are Cheetos.
Nah, nah, nah.
So there you go. That's that one. But I have that's the one I wanted to circle back on. But I really, really want to talk about this the list and why the list bugs me so damn much. On the one hand, there's just the fact that they call this a set booster and these cards are not in the set, which intrinsically bugs me. But no, here's the feel bad thing that I worry about. So back when I was a judge, it would happen, not infrequently, it would happen that someone new would come into the store for like an F&M or like an afternoon tournament. And it was someone who had never been in the shop before. It was someone we didn't know. It was usually someone younger. It was usually a kid, right? And so you got a kid who's like 10, maybe 12 years old, and they sign up for the tournament. And it happens to be a standard tournament. And they sit down and they start to play. And round one, you get the judge call. And you head over to that table and you see that, hey, it's the new 10-year-old kid playing against somebody who's here like every single week.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, Clues, this kid's got cards that aren't standard legal.
Yep.
So this kid paid money. His parents dropped him off, right? And this kid paid money so that he was going to stay and play this tournament for 3 hours on a Friday night. It's a big deal. But his deck has a bunch of non-legal cards in it. So now what do? Well, in the interest of customer service, of course, you remove him from the tournament, you refund his money, you apologize, you sit down, you explain to him why those cards can't be played. Okay, well, it's one thing if those are cards that he bought from the nickel bin up front. It's another thing if those are the cards that, his older sibling had. But it's a completely different thing if that kid came to the store an hour early and bought 10 set boosters opened them up, and built a deck out of them using these cards that appeared in the back that were neat looking cards with different frames and different. Oh, there were other cards with different frames in there too, because that can happen in the fireworks slots. But these cards aren't actually part of this set. These cards are not legal. And so now you have to explain to that kid how not only can he not play in your tournament with those cards, but he can't play in any of those Friday night tournaments with those cards because none of them are legal in the standard tournaments that you play in your shop. Those are the kinds of feel bad moments that drive me up the wall because you can watch a child's world shatter.
Now, for
And I hate it.
context clues, do you even like kids?
Oh, no, I hate kids.
And he's
I'll
not
just,
kidding about that. And
yeah,
yet,
I'll just go ahead and say it. I actually, I'm glad that other people have them, but I don't like them.
and
But at the
yet,
same time, I don't want to be cruel to them. That's just mean.
yep.
So, yeah, it really, this slot just makes me sad, is what this slot does.
Yeah. So, would you believe that we're not even done with my other problems with this product?
I would not believe it, but carry on.
So, you're getting less cards, right? Hang on, let's go back to, there we go. I can't find the number here.
12 magic cards, 14 cards in total.
Yeah, but I can't find the number. Whoa, Silver Fist 727 just resubbed for the 14th month. Say, yay, sad children for the sake of gambling. Oh, that's awful and hilarious.
I'm going to
You're
put
not
that as a
supposed to
possible
say
show
the mission
title.
statement out loud.
But yeah, okay, so there's 14 cards in this deck, 12 of which are magic cards, or in this pack, right?
Yeah.
But in a draft booster, they've got that number here somewhere, but damn if I can find it. There are, what, 15 cards and 14 are magic cards? Is that right?
Yes.
It's like 15 cards, including whatever they're putting in the land slot, which might just be a land.
Right.
So you're getting less stuff, just as far as number of cards.
But theoretically, you're getting better stuff, more useful stuff.
In terms of total paper, you were acquiring less paper.
Yes, but it says they're going to cost a little more than draft boosters. We estimate about $1 more per pack, but it may vary from region to region because we don't do MSRP. We hide behind regional differences as an excuse to not have MSRP anymore.
Right.
It says, but because you have an opportunity to open more rares per pack, and it gives you the best case, you can open up to 4 rares or mythic rares in a set booster without counting the list. We expect that you will get the same number of rares and mythic rares per dollar spent as you would buying draft boosters. And also, set boosters come 30 to a booster box rather than 36 of draft boosters. So you get less stuff, but it could be better stuff, so these are more expensive. Straight up gambling.
Yeah.
And remember, this doesn't start till Zendikar Rising, which I completely missed at the beginning of the Maniple episode where we talked about this. So, yeah. Also, Jace, Nissa, and Nahiri are going to be the 3 Planeswalkers in Zendikar Rising, and there's a new flavor of Omnath. Just because they showed the packaging here, so yay. So...
yeah.
Yay with admitting to gambling. I have serious problems with this product.
Smashing, groovy, yay, capitalism.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Are we done flogging this horse?
I mean,
Hold on. No, I'm just tabulating a thing here. Stand by.
I've got to, like, if I buy this horse sight unseen, then do I possibly get a second horse that can also be beaten? How many horses am I getting per value here?
So chat just said something really dumb. Says, would you rather have normal boosters just go up to $5? That's the other answer. How are those two things related in any way?
Prices for packs have gone up at various points throughout Magic's history.
Yeah,
It's
including
not like locked in.
booster prices went up for the distributors when they got rid of MSRP. But WotC didn't say, hey, the MSRP is going up. So some stores just didn't raise the prices because people would bitch. And they just absorbed that loss. And other stores raised it, people bitched. And they were like, it's not our fault. Like, whatever. WotC didn't say anything about raising pack prices.
Like, the core of your argument of would I rather have boosters just go up to $5 is essentially creating the scenario where no matter what, WotC is getting an extra dollar out of each person. And like, that doesn't actually have to be the case. Like, it's an option if they want to get an extra dollar, definitely. But like, that's irrelevant to any given product. That's just them wanting an extra dollar.
Yeah, that's just WotC becoming like video game developers.
I'm not even saying they're gouging there. I'm just saying like it's whatever they want to charge it for because there's no locked in price for anything.
Okay, so I was just looking through the numbers here in the article, and maybe someone's already tabulated this before, but I had to work through it myself. Let's look at the swing, shall we? From the best case scenario of pack you can open and worst case scenario of pack you can open.
Okay.
Okay, so worst case scenario, which I'm going to argue you're unlikely to be quite this unlucky, like all the way across the board, but if you open the worst all the way across the board, you are looking at 8 commons, one of which is a foil, an uncommon, 1 rare, and 1 land. No, I'm sorry, 9 commons, one of which is a foil. There we go. Now the math adds up.
Yeah.
So 9 commons, one of which is a foil, 1 rare, 1 uncommon, 1 land. Hooray. That was totally worth $5. It might be depending on the rare. Probably not, though. Your best case scenario, though, if you like just completely get lucky with everything, you are looking at 7 uncommons, 4 mythics, one of which is a foil, and a land.
And possibly
which could itself be a foil, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And possibly some sort of mythic from the list.
Oh, that's true. I completely forgot about the mythic from the list.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at the percentage chances of that, it's really low.
Yeah, it's real bad.
But someone's gonna open it and put it on YouTube and be like, wow, and get
Oh god, yes. I mean, the Goyf foil Goyf pack does exist. It'll happen.
Yeah, your wife opened it, yeah.
That's right. It did happen. But yeah, the chances of that are so low.
Another thing to note is that if you've ever actually been like buying boosters for the purposes of opening them, like you're that person who gets a booster box or 6 when a set comes out because you just want to have all the cards of the set and you just start opening stuff, pretty quickly you're really just opening a rare. Like,
yep,
you're just opening a rare. Like, so every other card in the pack is irrelevant. And if that's your goal, this for $5 is better than spending $4. Like, I mean, purely in the goal of getting the most rares, it is going to be better. I mean, I haven't done the math yet, but just based on what it looks like here, you're probably going to win more than you're going to lose on this. You just have to overset the dollar difference on the assumption that there are prices, which they don't have. But operating on the assumption of $4 versus $5, if at least 1 out of 4 times you get an extra rare, then cool, you got there. Good job. You broke even. This is still not great. You might do better than that sometimes, but if you're going to enter the world of the things that I'm opening are worth more, so that it should cost more, stop buying packs. Like, you've now entered the world where like you're determining the value of what you're getting, like financially, in which case all sealed product is stupid and you should go buy singles. You can't live in the middle of that. You're either buying it for the fun experience, which this could be. You could enjoy that. You could be buying it for the gambling. That's fine. Just know that that's what you're doing.
Excuse me.
Like, I spend money on all kinds of stupid crap. My phone here has way too much money in a literal gotcha game, so I am throwing stones at no one for their bad choices. Like, I make my own bad choices, and I promise you, my bad choices are on a different cost scale than what most people who spend money on Magic do. I get that. I buy anime crap.
Where's
I buy
that
all
mercy
kinds of crap.
statue?
Yeah. I buy expensive nerd crap all the time. Totally acknowledge that. That's what I do. So I'm not judging anyone if that's what they enjoy doing. Like, just know that that's what you're doing. I'm not telling myself that all this nerd crap that I'm buying is going to be worth something someday, because that's stupid. Like, this is worth way more to me. Like, if you ever reach the point where you're the nerd who's trying to fill out for insurance how much your crap is worth, just in case there's a fire, you're going to become abundantly aware that the stuff is worth way more to you than it is to anyone else. Like, good luck trying to claim insurance on your Magic collection, buddy. Like, no, it's paper. It's burning paper. That's just not great.
I did a quick back of the envelope calculation looking at these percentages, and I think if I did my math right, and we don't have percentages on all of these slots, right? So for instance, we don't know when you've got a foil, we don't know the number, the chance of your foil being a mythic foil. Okay.
Oh, it's the same as.
Is it the same as just
I think
a
the
normal
same as usual.
booster?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is in your rare slot, you've got a 1 out of every 7.4 rares is going to be a mythic rare. They told us that, and that's the same as in a draft booster. But when you get to the foil slot could be any rarity. So I don't know how they'll distribute that slot, common, uncommon, rare, mythic, rare, right? So there are certain slots I can't calculate here. But with the percentages that I found, that like dream pack that we described that someone's going to open and put on social media, I think 1 out of every 50,000 boosters that's opened will do that.
Oh man, let's buy 2.
And I think that's an upper limit on the chances. I think it's actually much worse than that.
I think that really this is one of those things where if you're buying it for the thrill of opening it and having neat stuff in it, this is going to be a better value for you than buying a normal booster pack, because there's more chances to surprise yourself and have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for.
If that's the experience you want, here you go.
Yeah. Like, at this point, I don't even really fault WotC, because they've acknowledged that they built an audience of gamblers and now they're milking the cow. And like, I mean, there's a lot wrong with this entire scenario, but I'm not surprised by it. They're just getting better at it.
Or like worse, depending on your
well,
perspective.
Like, from their point of view of making money out of an audience that they have bred for this, they're finally like collecting. And they're collecting as much as they can during a time when companies are falling apart left and right. And they're relying on crazy gimmicks and whatnot to keep going because they can't sell a lot of paper right now. But yeah, it's kind of that Matrix thing where every time they destroy us, they get a little bit faster the next time and a little bit better the next time, and they've just hurt us a lot. But if people are going to keep buying it, then they're going to keep doing it. Like, if people really take a fundamental dislike of these practices, they'd stop buying stuff. Like, just don't buy them. Like, don't want them. Don't reward them.
Yeah, the problem is Magic players don't have that ability. They can go meh on social media and then still buy all the stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Star Wars
I've been saying for literal years, Magic players are stupid.
Well, like, the Star Wars fans are gonna bitch and moan about how much they hate every new Star Wars movie, but they're still
gonna go see it in the theaters. Yeah,
they're still gonna buy a ticket. They're still gonna see it because it's just part of their identity. Like, this is Magic players. This is what we do. This is every kind of nerd. Like, this is not unique to Magic players. There have been communities treated worse than Magic players by their corporate overlords. It's just this one's getting a lot better at it, and therefore it's taking more. But
just because other companies have done it worse doesn't mean that WotC gets a pass.
No,
just
it's
to be
not
clear.
a pass.
Yeah.
Like, WotC is not special. That's what people have to come to terms with. We've created this idea that they were special for years because they did put in the lip service to feel good. It's just now we have to acknowledge that they're not.
while we're acknowledging things, we were complicit in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we
'Cause
being
like
the three of us, we were like,
Yeah.
well, it's WotC. It's not like they're knowingly. Yes, they were.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
nearly like there's what 600 episodes of Manipool, and
Almost.
like for our end of things, between like 400 and 500 episodes of us, depending on host, liking WotC and what they do, and like for the longest time, like they reacted to criticism, and that was great. They backed off. They did things they never had to do. They were super transparent with us for the longest time, and they made a lot of choices that I respected. I just also acknowledge that they've made a lot of financial decisions the last 2 to 3 years that I don't agree with, and they've gotten a lot more predatory with their practices, and I don't appreciate that. And so I stopped buying the product. Also, I've been busy and had other interests and spent all my money in stupid gacha games. So, like, there's plenty of reasons I'm not buying Magic right now. But it is definitely going to be one of those things where, like, I'm not giving them a pass anymore, because I can give someone a pass if I think this is the one mistake in a million and they do a lot to rectify it, but that's not what happens. This is everything's a mistake all the time.
And I also want to say the reason that I haven't just said this sucks, I'm stopping, is because someone has to point these things out. Because there's all the content creators that are still, and I'm not putting myself on any kind of pedestal here by any stretch, but all the content creators who like rely on Wizards of the Coast and are locked into Magic have to continue blowing Wizards of the Coast, or else they don't get the good stuff. They don't get the preview cards. They don't get the spot on the homepage. So they're not going to say Wizards is gambling and they're trying to screw you. But I don't care. WotC hasn't given me anything in a long time, so it's not like getting blacklisted is going to do anything to me.
So, to my mind, there was this kind of tacit agreement between we, the Magic community, and WotC themselves. We all knew that they were selling loot boxes. We all knew that booster packs were gambling. We all understood that on some fundamental level. We all knew that
I did not until just recently, unfortunately.
we all knew that they were making new products in order to get our money, right? Because that's what they do. And as a company, that's what they should be doing. It makes perfect sense. But there was this tacit agreement that as long as they don't do that too much, we'll keep buying it.
Yeah.
As long as they don't push it too hard, we'll keep buying it. And over the past several years, I really feel like the rate of product has increased. Like we used to joke that we were in never-ending preview season. It's not a joke anymore. We're really literally in never-ending preview season.
Really, if you remember like 5 to 10 years ago, the way that people would react to WotC on Twitter with the most negative, hyperbolic nonsense every time they did anything, well, they just grew into that. Like, it's not hyperbole anymore. Like, and that sucks. Like, part of the reason we like to defend them is because people were being ridiculous. Like, we made the comment about being angry about how the $20 bill in their pack was folded, because that's the way people were reacting. Like, the thing is, we got so used to people being hyperbolically negative that when there were real problems, we did a whole lot of looking the other way, because everything always felt like it was overdone. And if you just waited a little bit, we'd all calm down and it would be fine.
Yeah. Like I said, we've been complicit in this.
Yeah.
But like, and yeah, Chad just said Magic is one of the best games in the world because it has designers who have a mostly good hit rate. And it is. Magic is a great game. I've learned since the introduction of Arena that I don't like Magic as a game that much. I like Magic as a way, something to do with all my friends, because that's how a bunch of my friends and I met. All of my Manipool co-hosts, we played Magic constantly in college and after college, all the time. That's what brought us together as a group of friends. That's why I started the show, is because my group of friends started to dissipate, and I went, whoa, and I was like, podcast about Magic, and reeled them back in, and now we talk every week, and it's awesome. But I realized that several years ago that I don't like playing Magic with people that aren't the dorks. I just don't. And when Arena came out, I realized I don't like playing Magic without the dorks at all. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game. Magic is a brilliant game. But we're not talking about the game design. We're talking about the corporate side, the marketing.
Yeah, they're still producing a game that has got good cards that are fun to play against one another if that's what you want to do.
Ouch.
They're still releasing multiple sets a year. It's just there's a lot of other stuff that they do now that they did a lot less of before.
Yeah, and for me, the secret layers were the final like red flag that they've shifted from trying to make money to trying to make all the money.
I think it's one of those things. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the secret layers actually illustrate perfectly what I was trying to talk about with this kind of tacit agreement that we had, that as long as they didn't go to the well too often, the well wouldn't run dry, right? We would keep refilling it. Secret layers as a concept was neat. Okay, here's a thing that we can't fit into any other thing product wise. It just doesn't work, but it's some cool stuff that we want to try and do. And so we're like, hey, that's kind of neat. And they made one. And we're like, oh, that one's kind of neat. And then they made a second one. And we're like, well, that one's also kind of neat. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's for other people. But yeah, it's still kind of neat. Then they made 20 of them.
Yeah.
And it was too much, too fast, constantly.
Well,
and it's become it's like the train is out of control, right? It's like we just keep speeding up and speeding up and speeding up, and we're just reaching the point. It's a breaking point, right? And as people have pointed out, and Chewy has definitely pointed out, the answer is really just stop buying this stuff. And I'm really worried that we are headed toward a 90s comics crash, that they're going to do stuff that guarantees a quick fix financially that makes them money in the short term, but destroys the market in the long term. I mean, look at us. Okay. We had decades between us, decades of goodwill towards WotC. I don't think there's a lot of that left. The benefit of the doubt is gone, right? I think I hope I'm not speaking too much for all of us, but
I'm looking at them the same way they look at other companies. And that's sad because I didn't do that before. And that might have been naivete on my part, but they did enough things to convince me from time to time that they were in it for good stuff. Because, like, I liked going to Magic because, barring a few exceptions that are really awkward to look at, they're one of the only places where you can see, like, women in, fantasy that aren't wearing, like, the chainmail bikinis and all of that. Like, this is where you can go to see representation of not white people in fiction. Like, there's a bunch of stuff there that they do that does win a lot of, good renown. They've done a lot of good things. These are also all things that didn't cost them any money, but they did stand by them. They didn't, like, retreat and wither under it, give or take some bad novels. But they did things. And I think that over time that just hurt. But also, I really think that the thing I'm seeing now that I didn't see before is that when you're experimenting on the lab rat, you shock it, and then you shock it again, and then you shock it again. And at the end of the day, your goal is to find out how many shocks it takes to kill it. This is a messed up experiment, but that's the way you find out how many shocks kills it. They've been shocking our wallets and shocking our wallets to see how much we'll sustain. And you're not going to find out how much until it's too much. And that's what this has been. That's what the product blitz has been. It started out with some premium products and some side things, and that's cool. But for the longest time, Magic products were, here's a bunch of different ways to get the same booster packs. And you can go for the one that works for you, and occasionally here's something else that's neat. But now it's very much baiting out the collectors rather than just the players. Like, I'm not telling you not to buy Magic cards. I'm telling you not to buy crazy premium alternate art foil tournament edition DualShock compatible 64 Magic cards.
And if you do, buy them from your local game store.
Yeah, just go buy the normal booster packs, play the normal set, enjoy it, enjoy Zendikar, enjoy all of this stuff the same way you always did. Just don't reward this other stuff. And if people do continue to reward this other stuff, they're going to keep doing it. And those people, you can't stop them. They're going to spend their money on what they want to spend their money on. There may be an entire market for this, and they may now be being served in a way that they weren't before. But it's acknowledging that, like, WotC has decided that that is something they're willing to do to make money, and I don't like that. So that's really it. None of this is us saying burn WotC down. This is just acknowledging that we don't like what we see.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. There was a point I was going to make. Something relevant to what you just said. Damn it. Oh, yeah. Just a few episodes ago, which is probably like 2 months ago now because we've been recording at such an infrequent rate. But we talked about Rosewater shoving his foot in his mouth again by saying on Twitter, well, the reason we're making this expensive stuff is because if we don't make the expensive stuff, then the rich people won't give us their money. Like, he said that. That was his excuse. He's like, this is why we're doing such high-end premium stuff, is because we want their money.
I think if you're going to make the argument that, you know, we're doing what companies do, then you get treated like companies. I don't have this loyalty in any other brand. It's like, man, I sure do hope that, you know, Samsung gets all my money next time they release a phone because they earned it. Like, no. I buy a phone if I want the phone. I don't buy a phone if I don't want the phone. And if it costs too much, I might wait. Like, that's just it. I don't have any loyalty to them or anything else. Same way I don't have any loyalty to Apple or PC or any of that stuff. These are just means to an end. And if the means to an end for Magic for me is I buy Magic cards to play Magic, then that's cool. But it's not like, wow, WotC's doing a lot of really good stuff. I want to buy this and support it so they do more of that. Like, no, I'm not. It's not my thing. Now, I'll continue to buy, like, awesome audiobooks if they start writing good books again. And I mean,
that's
they
a good
haven't.
if.
But if they do, I'll buy them. Like, if they make their cool, you know, Netflix show or whatever, or their animated stuff, or they release other neat stuff, I will consume that because I'm way more interested in the setting and the stories than the game. And if they put out cool stuff and it doesn't offend everyone, then yeah, I'm in. But
Yeah, it's another thing. They've gutted the lore, the story side of things. We don't even get posts on the mothership anymore. We just get little blocks about cards.
I think they put a whole lot of themselves in the lead up and payoff of War of the Spark. And I have super commend them for that. Like, whether or not I agree with how the books turned out, the entire hype going into that was real. That was great. That was the payoff of a long time. It was really cool. We got a set with like 40 planeswalkers in it. It really was the culmination of a lot of stuff. And that was awesome. They just didn't have anything after that. And like, they might be slow roll setting up the next thing. I don't know. But they haven't really been handling it well. And as someone who doesn't care about the cards themselves and is more interested in the rest of it, I haven't really seen a lot lately that's made me excited.
Yeah, they had the Throne of Eldraine book. Was that it? Did Ikoria have any kind of story, anything?
I don't think it did. I don't think Ikoria got a book. I know
bummer.
they didn't do audiobooks for any more of these things either after the two that they did for War of the Spark.
The Willard Quest didn't get an audiobook?
I don't think so.
Huh.
I think they just did those two, and that was it. It's just like the focus of the company has become very clearly, we need to aim for these like premium high-end purchasers, and the people that just want to play Magic, just get them on Arena. And big shocker, when you shift your demographic like that, some people are going to feel left out. But
yeah, I was lucky enough to be flat broke for many years, so I haven't bought anything Magic in a long time, so I completely missed the whole urge to buy Magic because I couldn't afford it, so I didn't even think about it. So
I I also think that, and like this doesn't really affect us or likely any of the listeners in any direct way, but the big shift from the community built around going to tournaments and PTQs and all of that stuff got sidelined pretty hard, and I think that started a lot of the ill will as well. Like the judge program getting chucked through a elevator shaft didn't help, and then tossing down some like SCG and Channel Fireball people on top of you probably wasn't great either. It became very clearly about making that money, and just that, and all of these other things that were like big, more community focused stuff were just shut to the side because they don't make that money, and so you just have to look at them like a company. Do we want to talk about what's left of their tournaments since we still haven't done that part?
Yeah, I don't know how
Well, my
we got
heart's not
this
in it.
far off the rails, but I enjoyed it.
I was going to say, I think this was a good discussion. It's one of the better ones we've had in a while.
I think it was the open and honest one. Like this is the tangent we get on when a product comes out that is like the embodiment of all of our gripe. So.
Also, just one more thing, like Columbo. One more thing. The Commander Collection Green has been rescheduled for December 4th due to production delays. I don't know when it was supposed to come out, but now it's December.
Yeah. I have to assume it's because they spent all of their green points on cards that got banned. Because green's been kicking it pretty hard lately.
Damn it, that's funny. So, all right. Also, there was a state of the game for Arena. Jumpstart is out. And, yeah, the rest of this doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, and wait, is Jumpstart out or is Jumpstart? Yeah, Jumpstart's out because people are complaining that you can't buy Jumpstart packs. If you want Jumpstart crap, you have to craft it or enter the release event, which might be over by now. I don't know. I don't play that game.
That sounds awful.
It does, yeah. Like I saw a bunch of like pros saying, "I really wish I could play Historic, but I can't get these cards without crafting them, and I don't have 40 rare wild cards to just throw away. Yeah. So I guess I'm not playing Historic." And I went, that's...
I mean, fair.
Huh. It's probably not a good look there, WotC, to not be able to just buy packs. Buy packs!
Yeah, this is actually kind of the weird opposite end of everything we were just talking about. Like, when it comes to Arena, you can't just give them money and get cards after they spend so much effort in paper magic taking your money for cards.
And Amonkhet Remastered, by the way, is coming on August 13th. Pioneer Masters is scheduled for sometime in the fourth quarter. And they're working on mobile. Okay.
Neat.
But alright, so yeah, there was a big tournament, like I said, I think at the very beginning. The Players Tour Finals happened 2 weeks ago. And then this weekend was the top 8. Because esports, I guess.
Yeah, gotta have that week of hype.
I guess. Like they had an event to reveal the bracket on Friday or Thursday, whatever, the day before the tournament. They were like, "Join us for the bracket reveal." And I'm like,
okay.
With 8 players, there's only so many options.
I mean, I think it would be really funny if they did it like the anime tournament arc style, where you're all standing there and then they just have to like do the power walk up to the stage and then draw a lot. And then we just find out that it's just, whatever nonsense anyway. Because who cares? Like, you're all amazing. You're here. Have at.
It's very weird. But yeah, so real quick, I pulled up the metagame breakdown of day 2. At least I think this was, the day 2 metagame breakdown from the previous week, just to get a look at the numbers. And Teamer Reclamation day 2 was 39% of the field. 4-color Reclamation was 21.5% of the field. And Bant Ramp was 12% of the field.
Don't you love that diversity?
So that's like 40, 60, that's like 75 almost percent of the field was...
That's so much Abzan. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then everything else is single digit. 4% mono green aggro.
Sure.
5.4% mono white aggro. Like, yeah, maybe some stuff needed to be banned. Just a little bit.
I mean, that's how you do it.
So anyway, going back to the top 8. Let's see here. I think these are not in order. Great. All right, fine. So who won? Yeah, Christoph Prinz won. He was running 4-color Reclamation. He fought this person in the finals. Riku Kumagai. Is that right?
Yes.
Mr. Japanese pronunciation guy?
Well, and more, I was looking to see if it was the right person, and it took me a second to realize why you were actually asking me.
Okay.
You have it in front of you. Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
The guy. Yes.
So that 4-color Reclamation deck has 11 banned cards in it. Is that right?
3 Teferi, 4 Reclamation. Where's the growth? Yep, 4 Growth Spiral, and I bet the other... Nope, there's no more Reclamation in the board. Okay.
Okay, just checking. Just wanted to make sure that this is relevant to everyone's planning from here on out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Riku Kumagai was running a mono black aggro in the finals. So trying desperately to slay the giant that was Reclamation and didn't quite get there.
Still impressive.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think there are any banned cards in this one, are there?
Mono black? No.
Black, I doubt.
Yeah, all right. Way to
Like,
go.
for that cat goblin.
So then I think we're... I think our stuff breaks down here because I don't think Patrick Fernandez ended up in 3rd because he dropped out way over here.
Once you get the lower brackets, it gets a lot harder to read this.
So we'll just say the rest of the top 8, Patrick Fernandez was running the Teamer Reclamation deck, which has just 8 banned cards, I think, right?
There's your problem.
Yeah.
You're only operating at like 50% capacity.
Yeah. Michael Jacob was playing Mardu Winota. Wow. Winota. Good old Winota. Didn't she get banned in Brawl? Good. Christopher Larson was playing the Jund Sacrifice deck with the now banned
Cauldron Familiar.
Oh, that's what it was called. Yeah. Wait, was the mono black deck running it? I don't think so.
I didn't remember seeing it there. No.
I was looking for it and I didn't see it.
But that's that. Raph Levy was playing imagine that, Azorius Control.
Yep, 4 Fairies.
Well, that's how they get you.
Yep.
Benjamin Whites, probably, was running the 4-color Reclamation deck.
4, 8, 12 banned cards.
And then Alan Wu was also running Teamer Reclamation with 8 banned cards. So this is what we meant when we said like the top end of the Magic.
Yeah.
Let's say pyramid. Where down here's all the scrubs, like what I'd be playing if I was playing standard. And as you go up higher, it gets narrow and narrow and narrower until you have everyone 70% of the field playing something Reclamation.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a quick glance at the the meta that was as of this morning and is no longer. But
I mean,
congrats to
if you want
Christoph
to
Prince
make,
for winning the first of
yeah,
the new Pro Tours. Just to put it in
nice.
context until we all get used to it and hope they don't change it again.
Right.
So what was that,
Player
Squee?
Extreme Tournament.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I still think that the trophies are weird looking, but I appreciate that they are getting ever so much closer to the Eye of Sauron.
I'm
And if
sorry,
you
did
ever,
I just shift into a weird phantom world where there was a big flaming eye looking at me and talking to me and telling me it can see me?
I mean, probably you're still in Kernersville, right?
Yeah.
You guys have one of those, right?
I mean, it's in Greensboro, but we can see it from
Well,
here
yeah. I
on a
mean,
clear
it is
night.
far seeing, like the Triad. Um, for anyone who's never been there, yeah, they have one. It's really scary. Don't go there. And if you have been there, just roll with it. But yeah, I think that if you want to make a solid argument for banning a bunch of cards, you just point to this. Turns out, yeah.
Yeah. Might be a small problem there.
But hey, solve the problem with
For
a
now.
mighty hammer.
I saw someone describe the bannings today, and it may have just been with respect to Pioneer, that it was like taking it off and nuking it from orbit, but in a good way.
Oh well, that's nice. Yeah, I kind of look forward to seeing what card gets banned out of the next set. Now that it's happening so often, it's kind of fun just to look and see what high profile card they said was going to be the good one. Because they're clearly willing to push things to ban worthy levels now, since it builds the hype and creates the set and lets them run sort of shorter seasons by just banning stuff. So now I just want to see that. Like, I want to look over the list and go, oh, that's the banned one. That one right there. And it not just be, you know, nitpicky nerd stuff like it used to be when we would say that's going to get banned. Like, we just can actually pick now.
So it looks like we have 7 weeks until Zendikar Rising comes out.
That's like 12 preview seasons.
It's like
So
3 marches.
it's yeah.
Ugh.
So that means hopefully we get our slight reprieve on Neverending Preview Season for another few precious weeks. But that also means this new meta. Shut up.
I just love your optimism. Go on. I'm sorry.
I said hopefully. That also means that this new meta is has less than 2 months to be a thing.
I mean, that's more exciting. I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. Like, that's cool.
So enjoy it.
That mono black deck is going to tear stuff up until people figure out what's going on.
I saw a lot of people say today on Twitter saying, "Okay, just play mono red," and I went somewhere. Clues is smiling.
I mean, look, he's the one who used the monkey paw. He still had to get his wish in some form.
I did.
The trick to the monkey's paw is that all of the fingers are somehow the middle finger. But I do think that
that's deep.
yeah. Yeah, I think that this is fine and that's fun. And honestly, I'm okay with them banning cards. Like, again, I'm not buying them, so I don't have the same level of investment. But I would prefer they ban cards and shake up the format to having the same deck list all year and hoping that maybe the next set will disrupt it enough. Like, if they're not going to print like sets that surprise me constantly, which is not really a realistic expectation, I'm glad they're willing to hit things with a big hammer when needed.
Oh yeah, I think that their old policy of just let it ride. There's only 2 months left. Was never good.
No, we put up with a lot of formats way longer than we should have. As someone whose introduction to like tournament magic was about the same time that fairies was a thing, like that's not a great first impression. Because like there were definitely like there was Dragonstorm and there was Pickles and there was all that stuff at the time too. But the first time I really encountered a fairy stack was like one of the first times I built an actual deck I was trying to not just play casually, and that was an absolutely miserable experience. But that kind of stuff lingered for a long time because they just didn't do anything about it. Like the cards are blatantly broken for their format, but it didn't matter because they were just going to wait it out and hope for the best. And now they don't do that anymore. So, for all the crap that we're giving them, at least the people making the actual cards seem to have figured something out.
Yeah, like if you're gonna push the envelope, you have to be more aggressive with the banning, and if you're not gonna push the envelope, you don't. And they're deciding to push the envelope, so they ban things when necessary. Like you can get all nostalgic. The Discord server, actually, the Maniple Discord server, was getting all nostalgic for. You remember when we didn't have bans in standard? And I do, and that was both good and bad, because sometimes things were bad for a long period of time, and other times things were kind of boring.
Like, you remember the level of crazy when Jason Stoneforge got banned, and we're like, what? You can do that? Because it hadn't been done in so long?
Yeah, it was... Someone in the Discord server pointed out it was like 6 years before that, and then 6 years again until more bannings.
Like, I think that was the first banning since, like, Affinity. I think we really just had that long of a run without bans. Like, if you can imagine the entirety of modern history, like the sets that fall into modern, the first banning was Jay's.
Hang on, I can...
I think.
I can tell you real
Well,
quick.
did they actually ban GT? Or was it just good?
It never got banned in standard, no.
Yeah, I think it got banned in standard. And that's the only thing that I could think of that might have in that window.
Okay, hang on. 2017... We had bannings. 2011, yeah. So Jason Stoneforge Mystic, and then 2017 was when they started banning stuff again. So 6 years.
And then before that.
And then before that was 6 years, 2005.
Yeah.
Which was the Artifact Lands and Disciple and Ravager.
Yeah, it was. There's a reason they went back and destroyed that plane. Like, it's like never again. They invented a new broken mechanic in Phyrexian mana to replace Affinity. Because matter cannot be created or destroyed, only corrupted and changed.
Yeah. But, like, and there's actually a Maniple episode on this. I think we named it, what did we name it? The History of Standard Bans or something like that?
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, where we actually went back and covered all the bans that had ever happened in Standard up until that point. That episode would be twice as long now.
And it would just be block. Like, you'd have 9 of them from this year alone.
Yeah. But, like, there are pros and cons, too. And this is more not news thing. It's just us talking. But there are pros and cons, too. Lots of standard bans and no standard bans. Yeah. And from the health of the game perspective, not I bought this thing and now it's wasted money perspective. Because Magic's gambling in several different ways.
Yeah. Don't expect your cards to retain value. Like, there are too many things, even outside rotation, that will kill it.
But, like I said, if the design is deciding, okay, we're going to ramp things up and try to, shake things up and do interesting things, something that's going to bite you in the ass. And so you have to pay. Or if your development team is asleep on the job, cough, Oko, cough, then you've got to have bans or else things are going to get miserable.
So, like, here's a prompt. If we had the ban philosophy of today, do you think that we would have actually had Delver for its full duration? Because it was very clear they had not planned on it being that good.
I do not remember Delver in Standard, so I can't answer that.
Like, Delver was in most of the decks because it picked up the sword and ended the game.
I believe you.
I think you're right. I think they would have banned it.
I mean, I'm not saying it needed to be banned, but I think the way that they're banning things now for being too prevalent, I think they would have been willing to ban, like, a common or uncommon or whatever it was. Or maybe, like, one of the swords or something. Probably not the swords, but I think it's something that they would have been willing to kill if they were approaching it the way they're approaching things now. Um, like I'm just trying to think of other cards that I don't think would have survived because like it's fun to say, oh, they get the Rhino, but the Rhino was never really the problem. The problem was that like Abzan was amazing and it also had a Rhino. Like
Yeah.
it just had too many good cards. It's just all the good cards were there, and you could run things pretty easily. But like I think Delver was probably the most oppressive card that wasn't banned in shaping its format.
Chat points out that I don't know if I agree with the biggest reason, but another big reason that things are getting banned now is because there's a lot more Magic being played now than even 5 years ago. And that is completely accurate.
Yeah. We're solving formats a lot faster. We're also settling into what we find a lot faster, and there's just so much more of it that they just, tried to do everything they could to cut off the information we got so that it would last longer. But yeah. More tournaments, more things going on.
Yeah. But you know what? It's almost midnight.
It's true.
It is.
Yeah, we should stop this.
That's probably true.
So, I will do the end of show spiel. So, hey, if you want to help support what I do with all of this content that I make, I do the Mana Pool and Monday Night Magic. Whenever there's news, we do Monday Night Magic. And whenever... So, our personal lives have been a little weird since the coronavirus hit. I know that for the Mana Pool, Mike's job has spent the last month and a half trying to kill him. So, like, half the time when we don't record, it's because Mike is like, I'm not going to make it. I just can't. I'm not going to get done until God knows when. And, yeah. Let's sort these this way this time. Ooh. And, yeah, Dirk is really stressed because Dirk's a teacher. So, yeah, the Mana Pool has not been going as frequently as we might like. And also, we're all disillusioned with WotC, too. So, there's that.
Yeah.
But that's not the primary reason we haven't been recording. It's just I'm going to say tertiary. But I also recently altered my relationship with YouTube, where I've no longer... It's been a while since we did Monday Night Magic, so I don't think I've said this here. It's been a while since I... No. I no longer have lashed myself into doing one YouTube video every day, guaranteed, because that got me nowhere. just nowhere. Being consistent every day at the same time, all the time, the algorithm didn't care. So I've decided to refocus. I'm not abandoning the YouTube channel. In fact, I've got YouTube videos going up every day this week. But that's after missing like 4 days. But that means that I can... Like, I did the math, and I was making something like some number of cents an hour or something, but with the YouTube videos... Because YouTube doesn't pay for crap unless you're big, and I'm not big. So, rather than keep pouring so much of myself into something that's not paying off, because I do have bills and need to eat and stuff, I've decided to refocus. I'm going to only put up YouTube videos when I have something to put up. And I won't kill myself to make sure I have all these YouTube videos every day. And it's been a lot better for me, actually, in just a couple weeks since I made that decision, just from a mental health perspective.
Yay.
Because it was affecting the way that I do... I've got a whole video about this on the YouTube channel. But... And there's a Gannett. But, like, it was affecting the way that I would stream things and what I would stream and when I would stream and how I would stream. And that's not good to feel like, okay, I want to play this, but I can't stream that because that's not going to guaranteed give me the 7 videos I need for next week. So I got to do this instead. I don't want to do this, But it's the only thing I got right now that'll give me 7 videos for next week because I won't be able to stream any because we got the watch party. I do watch parties every Saturday night, by the way. If you've got Amazon Prime, you should come hang out with us. Next week, by the way, the plan is to watch Beastmaster, the 80s movie, and Highlander. We're going to have awesome 80s action movies. Yes, 80s fantasy action movies. Yeah. Last week we watched The Running Man and the first Terminator movie, and it was awesome.
Nice.
But anyway, so like Saturdays are out, and Fridays I usually just play Skyrim, which that's not YouTube-y. That's my post-dash Skyrim stream where I start late and go late, and it's just a way to relax. But that's not YouTube content. And Monday's Monday Night Magic, and Tuesday's the night off to shoot things in the face. And so that means on like Wednesday and Friday are my only 2 days, and I've got to get 7 days worth of YouTube videos out of it, and it was just bad. It was just bad. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I don't have daily YouTube videos going up, but that means that the quality will increase. I'm going to go for quality over quantity instead of just churning them out because I have to. I focus on doing better things. I've got a new thing in the works. I'm working on a completely new thing. I'm working on an angle on that. And actually, I gave myself a haircut, and I recorded the whole thing in case there's content there because it was a strange experience. It was a very strange experience.
You should just put it to music.
I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I'm gonna try to do something with it and see if I can get something watchable and useful. I had the camcorder set up in the bathroom with, just the camcorder microphone and like the bathroom lighting. So it's not gonna look or sound pretty, so I gotta figure out something else to do with it. But anyway.
You need to drop in the background from Psycho.
It was actually facing away from the shower curtain, so I couldn't even do something with that. Anyway. But anyway, yeah, so I stream during the week, and and we have YouTube videos. Yay. I don't remember where I was going with this, but hey, if you would like to help support what I do, you can go to patreon.com/themanapool, sign up to be a lifeguard. You can get the odds and ends, get the early access to videos and stuff. And when I get, if I take this new idea, this new project a step further, you're going to get like a first pass to let me know how it is if you're a lifeguard. I'll be like, hey, I don't help. Is this good? What do I need to change? So yeah, that's another perk. Look at that. But anyway. So yeah. Also, you can get the sponsorship shout out on both podcasts. So I'd like to thank, in no particular order apparently, the Beast Father Aaron Goodwine, Al, Aleph Cat, ALK Alters, Andrew Hunt, Lance Delicious, Cody Buckawing. Wait, hang on. Connor Kennedy, Danny Leal, Jake Jansons, Jason Doan, Jason Kaus. Don't trust people named Jason. No reason. Jeff Spencer, John Parker, John Morris, Casey, Backwards Logic, Kim Ho, Beardy Man, Gothic Man, whoa, PJ McMullen, Scuzzo, and Timu Helazharyu. I'm sure after all these years I'm still saying his name wrong, and that bothers me. So yes, thank you to all of the Mythic Lifeguards. All right, so co-host guys, what y'all got? How's it going? Where can we find you? All that good stuff.
Twitter, Squeegoblin Bob, No Iron Goblin, because it was the last thing that was phased out, and it might not come back for a while, given Teferi's gone. For the most part, I've been doing work, just working constantly at all times. I was working while we were doing the setup for this show.
He was.
I've spent a great deal of time sitting in this chair doing work stuff, so I have not had a great deal of crazy escapism outside of that. In terms of stuff, like I'm still slowly making my way through Last of Us 2, but it's taking a while since I only really played a few hours a week. I audiobooked my way through the new Dresden book, and I'll just say for anyone who's been sitting there for it, he very blatantly did write one really, really, really long book that was too long to print. and so we cut it up into 2 books. So you might just want to wait for the second one to come out because it is very clearly halfway through a book where this one finishes.
Oh.
So, like, the other one comes
That's
out in like 2 months. It's not like it's a big thing. It's
All
just,
right.
yeah,
okay.
like it was written as one long book and it was finished. It's just split in half for release because of paper. So like if you've been waiting for 5 years for a Dresden book, like wait 2 more months and just get a whole Dresden book. It's just really long. Like it was good, it's just long. And so like I'm just gonna be in pause mode on that. Like in the interviews he said, yeah, the publisher said, so we don't really want to do this or the book's gonna cost like $40 to $60. And he's like, well, I don't want that. So they just split it up.
That is not a
Um,
small number.
no, not for paper. Like it would have been a super big book, and I don't blame them for spreading that out. So I think the other one comes out in like October or something. But whatever the case, if you've been waiting, wait a little bit longer and just get one big book. Um, Other than that, I started watching Recreators, which is an anime that's on Amazon Prime that people have been telling me to watch for a while, and I finally got around to it. I'm liking it. It's a bit more talky than I expected, but it's scratching a lot of the fun itches. The premise is that what happens if um, people's anime and manga and video game characters start appearing in the real world and have all of their powers intact and have reasons to be mad at each other. So you get like the guy who summons an actual massive giant robot and like he's the only person in the world with the giant robot, or you get the magical girl who flies around and is now in a world where people bleed and does not understand what's going on and freaks the hell out, which is pretty funny.
Huh.
Um, it's just a whole bunch of genres clashing into each other, and like I think that's really neat. It's sort of got a Ready Player One sort of vibe to it, just because like if you understand the things that it's referencing, it's a lot of fun. If you don't, then it's just weird stuff. But I've been enjoying that. This came out years ago. I'm just late to it, and I guess while I'm if you've been missing the Harry Potter feel and don't want to deal with J.K. Rowling and all of her issues right now, Little Witch Academia is on Netflix and it's great. It's a really good anime. You could watch it with children. It's like TVY7, but it's also great for adults. It's a lot of fun. It's by Studio Trigger when they have their act together and aren't just doing boobs. So if you want magical school escapism, it's a really, really good one. So go give that a check out if you'd like.
Nice. Even
Writing it
I've
down
heard
now.
that that's good, and I haven't. I don't watch anime.
Yeah, it's great. It's one of my favorite anime because it's just good, and it has an ending. Like it actually has a full series with an ending, and it resolves everything, and that's
What?
that. That's great. Yeah, crazy.
Nonsense.
And it's not forever long either. It's just like 24-ish episodes, so you can just run with it. But it's good. I like it. I've been recommending it to my friends who have kids, so I think it's a good option for that. So it's about enough for me. So now I'm going to give it to Clues.
Hey, me, you can find on Twitter. I'm at Lockluse, spelled just like it is in the show notes. We have show notes. You should look at those to find out how to spell Lockluse, so you can go find me on Twitter. I spend more time there than I should. To be honest with you, I mostly read it and become sad. And then I read news sites and I become sad. I spend a lot of time sad lately.
Have you tried
Well,
doing other stuff?
I have, but there's a lot of sadness to go around.
Hmm.
On a completely related matter, you should probably make sure you're registered to vote, and maybe do that. Have a plan for when that rolls around. Don't just wing it at the last minute. You want to make sure you know where you need to go and what you need to do. And if you have to go out, for God's sake, wear a mask. And if you don't want to go out, instead stay in and I guess do what I've been doing when I haven't been sad, and that is playing Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4. If you have a PS4, get this game. Oh my God.
I've heard
It
good
is
things.
it is hands down the most beautiful, visually stunning game I have ever played. And I don't know why I didn't really expect that at the end of the PS4's life cycle, but it's what's happened. And
Hitting pretty hard this year.
and here we are. It's really really good and compelling. Um, So yeah, that gets a recommend from me. I'm only about halfway through the game, I think. I don't know, but yeah. If you're listening, on the off chance that you are listening, and you are the administrator for a school district, for God's sake, don't make your students go back in person in the fall. It's a terrible idea. No good can come of it. In other news, my school is going back face to face in the fall.
Lord have mercy.
Have you got your riot gear?
Not yet, but I guess the only silver lining I can look for is I think it will be short lived. I think we'll head back completely online not long after we open the doors, but we
That
shall
sounds
see.
pretty accurate based on everything
We
that we've seen.
shall see.
Well,
That's
yeah.
all I got.
If you're a college student that's going back, like for realsies, wear masks. Don't screw around. It's
Oh yeah.
going to be funny. Like you're in an incredibly dangerous situation, and it's up to you to stay safe.
If you are offered the opportunity to do things online instead of in person, do them online. You're way better off. And please, for the love of God, don't take it out on the instructors. They did not make the decisions. The instructors, your professors, were probably not even asked for their opinion as to whether they wanted to go back online or in person. It's a thing that was handed down by the administration. They made the decisions, they made the choices. Don't take it out on your instructors. They are stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they will do their best with what they've been handed, but it's all they can do. We're sorry. It's not our fault.
Correct.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Right. Well, as for me, dude, I started watching She-Ra on Netflix.
I've heard good things.
It's really good. I
Excellent.
think 2 episodes into season 2, and it's really good. 3 episodes? What, 2? In the episode I just watched, they're sort of fantasizing about a battle that they're planning, and one of the characters, his made up thing is all of the characters are in their original outfits from the original cartoon.
Right.
And it's brilliant. As soon as he had a mustache, it was Bo, and as soon as he had a little mustache, I went, what? And then it zoomed out and showed his outfit, and I was like, ah! And then at the end of that episode, like a remix of the original She-Ra theme played,
Right.
and I was like, ah! So
That's great.
yeah. I also started watching The Haunting of Hill House, which is really creepy, but
Sounds right.
it's pretty good. I just made it through, and if you've seen this, you'll understand what I mean, the individual characters' episodes, I think. So I'm halfway through. So yeah, it's good if you can do creepy things, which I just can't watch it right before bed. Other than that, I'm good. So yeah, I also discovered the Game Maker's Toolkit channel on YouTube, and good lord, there's so much good stuff in there. He's been making videos about game design for a few years now, and they're all really good. They're really good. High production values. He clearly knows what he's talking about. It's good stuff. Yeah. Is that all? Oh, and I found the original Legend of Zelda cartoon on Tubi TV, another free streaming service. And I watched them all. And it's not as bad as you might remember.
I think when you get used to the "excuse me, princess" bit, it's not so bad.
Yeah, that's the only bad part, really. Like,
That part's pretty
Ganon
bad.
as a villain in like a Saturday morning cartoon. I know it wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon; it was a Friday afternoon cartoon. But you know what I mean when I say Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning cartoon villain. Like he doesn't go full Skeletor. He's not goofy. So he's menacing, but he's not scary.
Like in the spectrum of things, he's closer to the Saturday Sonic Robotnik, but like nothing actually meets Saturday Sonic Robotnik in that world for actual like intimidating villain. But he's a lot closer to it on the scale. Like he's not like goofy weekday afternoon Robotnik.
Yeah. I didn't watch either of the Sonic cartoons, so I'll just go,
Oh,
yeah. But also, Zelda kicks a lot of ass in that show.
it's true. It's true. Like that's I think the first time that the Zelda has a bow thing really took off. And yeah, she was pretty great. She rescues Link a lot.
Yeah, she kicks just as much, if not more, ass than Link does throughout the course of the
Mm-hmm.
13 episodes. Also, there's so many actual villains from the actual games. And having just played, the first two quests of Zelda again last year, and then I've played Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, I'm like, ah! And at one point, a Dodongo charges, and
Yeah.
Link's dumbass is like shooting it with his laser sword beam
Right.
in the butt, and nothing's happening. And Zelda throws a bomb in its mouth, and it explodes. And I was like, because that's how you beat Dodongo. Like,
It's true.
so I
Just like
geeked
smoke.
out. I geeked out pretty hard over the Zelda cartoon in 2020.
Yeah. Did you track down the Captain N crossover just to wrap it up?
No. Sadly, Captain N wasn't on the show. So,
That's fair.
but yeah. So that's what I've been doing is watching those four things and assorted random movies.
Nice.
I watched Session 9 today, which is actually somewhat understated thriller from the early 2000s, I want to say. It had David Caruso in it. Remember him?
I haven't thought about him in a while.
Yeah. But it was not what I remembered, because I think when I rented it from Blockbuster all those years ago, I think we watched the alternate ending, which is a completely different movie.
It is really fun when I remember watching movies, but like seeing the TV cuts. And then I eventually watched the movie years later. I'm like, oh no.
I'm tired of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday
No,
plane.
those parts but like I remember, I distinctly remember when I was watching American Psycho. I'd remembered like one of the cuts of it, like not the TV cut, but just like maybe the theatrical cut or whatever the softer version was. I remember that one, and so I'm sitting down and I'm watching it with my friend, and she's like, "Okay, so like, what do I need to worry about?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's American Psycho. He's gonna murder people. It's gonna be graphic violence." She's like, "Yeah, but do any animals get hurt?" I'm like, "No, it's fine. An animal definitely gets hurt.
Uh-oh.
Definitely gets hurt."
Yeah.
I didn't know that because they didn't happen in the version that I saw before. So we were both surprised. It's like that scene pops where she's like, "That dog's fine, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then the dog wasn't fine. And then I'm like, "I'm a monster. Also, what the hell?"
I was going to say, did she punch you? She punched you.
No, but she was sufficiently upset. And I was upset because I'm like, "No, you're bad, Batman. Stop it. Don't do that."
Actually, we had someone in the chat when we were watching Terminator
Yeah.
say, I don't remember this sex scene at all.
Oh, yeah. They didn't put that in any of the TV runs on it.
And yeah, that's what we were like, well, you must have seen the TV cut, because
Yeah.
Also, it's really short. It's like, wait, there's a boob, and then it's over. Because in the 80s, you had to have a boob somewhere in your movie,
It's
apparently.
True. I know that I saw Hackers many, many times. It wasn't until I saw it recently that I realized, oh, wow, that's actually just topless Angelina Jolie when she was 18. Weird. Really weird and unexpected.
I don't remember that in Hack.
I didn't remember that scene at all, but no, it's there. Like, yeah. And it's just like, what the hell is this? Maybe every time I ever saw it, it was just on like Sci-Fi Channel. I don't know. But yeah, that scene was totally there, and it completely caught me off guard. So we're still finding things like that as we watch movies now. Oh, we're bad at signing off. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah.
Maniple, Maniple, Maniple. Twitch.tv/themanipool, manipool.com. Friendster, Manipool, geocities.com/manipool/5555, manipool.angelfire.com. Join the Manipool web ring.
Wow.
Let's bump up those Manipool counters.
Sign the Manipool guest book.
Manipool.
Oh man.
Sign in through Telnet to our BBS. It'll be great.
There are people right now that went, what did he just say with that last one? And
that's fair.
All right.
Yeah,
so
correct.
This has been a long rambling, but look, see, this is 3 weeks worth. That's why this took so long,
True.
right? Yeah. So this has been a long rambling. Monday Night Magic, number 695. Come for the news, stay for the long...
whatever this was.
long critiques of WotC business practices, and then hang out at the end for the nonsense.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Black Lives Matter. Trans rights are human rights. Register to vote, wear a mask. Wear a mask. Shut up, wear a mask. Okay? Okay.
See.
And thank you all so very much for joining us. And, I guess go play some Magic if you want, or don't. It's up to you.